And we are live. It's Friday night. We're having a few technical issues. We can see Nicky at the bottom of the screen now. He's desperately trying to get involved in tonight's show. But this is what happened when with live TV, Scott, or YouTube. You know, we're not on the telly. But yeah, it's the three amigos tonight. It's me, you, and Nicky. Scott and Dan. Dan and Graham, unfortunately, are not with us tonight. But yeah, how you been, mate?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not bad. Keeping busy. Just literally finished. Well, I say finished. I started painting the boys' room, and it's not going to plan at the minute. Before I literally had to get ready for this, I was covered in paint, so I had to have a quick scrub up and then get everything set up to come on here.
You know what though? Funny enough, I've been like, obviously where I've moved into a new house, I've been doing a lot of painting. Never picked up a paintbrush in my life until I moved into this house. But it's quite refreshing. It's quite what's the word? Like relaxing. Unless people get in your way, that's when it goes wrong. Yeah, that's it, mate. When it's worse when you've got a 4-year-old buzzing about your feet going, I want to help, you know. Well, the thing is, the kids, they all think their dad's like Bob the Builder, isn't they? So
exactly.
They want to help.
Yeah, he's like, oh, yeah, can I help? And I'm like, yeah, when we paint the walls. And he's like going towards the paint. He's like, no, leave the paint. So I was just, he come downstairs with it all over his hands. I went, what'd you touch? And he went the paintbrush. And I'm thinking, please not have got it on the carpet or anything like that.
Nate's saying we should try plastering. One step at a time for me, mate. One step, yeah, therapeutic. That's the word I was looking for. A lot of comments about the hair. Yeah, as you notice, I have had a little trim. I had to. It was getting too long. I couldn't wait for another 2 weeks. So I bought some clippers and I just went straight over it. I don't think I've done a bad job. Looks all right, doesn't it, Scott?
Yeah, it looks all right, mate. Looks all right.
Yeah, not bad. Some people will comment on it, I'm sure. But yeah, there's a lot of here. Therapeutic. That is the word I was looking for.
Yes.
I thought it was that word, but I didn't want to say it just in case it was wrong.
No, that's the right word, mate. That's the right word.
Anyway, what are you drinking tonight, Scott?
I'm going through, slowly finishing off my crate of Bud Light. My low calorie beer, not low alcohol beer.
I'm on San Miguel tonight. I had to use a San Miguel glass because I think my post-match pint glass is still around the old flat, so I've still got to pick some stuff up from there. But it was either that or I had a Peroni glass, but I didn't want to pour the San Miguel into it because I don't think it's right. You know, I don't like pouring different beers into different glasses. It's like when people drink like out of a Coca-Cola glass and they put Pepsi in it. It's not right. Stick to what you know. Stick to the right stuff.
Exactly. Nicky, we can still see Nicky. He's moving about. He's trying desperately to.
Yeah, he looks like he's in a wooden prison at the moment, doesn't he? So we'll give him another couple of minutes before we get in. But the topics tonight, Scott, I'll quickly go through. And what we're going to talk about is obviously international duty. Two of our players have starred, Jesse Lingard and Thomas Souček. And then there's a little rumour about Lanzini leaving the club for PSG. There's loads to talk about. There's some controversial stuff to talk about as well, which we'll get into a bit later. Obviously about Jared Bowen's tweets, which I think is going to be a good little discussion. And there's loads, and we're getting the chat involved. How's everyone doing in the chat? Let us know what you're drinking tonight. And
a few already said. Let's have a look. Who's already.
Let us know where you are in the world as well. I love knowing where people are in the world. I think it's crazy sometimes when people like from Canada and America are watching us, but I love it. Everyone watching us. It's good. It's Friday night. It's that part of the week where we just let our hair down. Well, most of us, literally. But I think, yeah, there he is.
Hey.
Hello, Nick.
Rubbish.
Oh, that was it. I thought his mic ain't working. Say something, please.
Rubbish. Absolute fucking rubbish. Computers. I can't. Do you know what? I'm getting so fucking sick to the back teeth of it now, man. I just can't wait to go back and do things in person. I'm just getting sick of technology, to be honest.
Well, you've got another few months of it left yet, Nick. So,
well, not in my ass.
Not in my eyes.
I don't know what that means, but
yeah, I thought we'd start off with some. I told Scott a few of the topics we're going to talk about tonight. Obviously, there's a couple of controversial ones as well, but Yeah, I think we should start off with a bit of positive. And two of our hammers this week have starred in international football. Thomas Souček and last night Jesse Lingard for England, who got man the match. Let's talk a bit about Thomas Souček first, mate. Perfect hat trick in midweek. His value just keeps going up and up and up, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, doesn't he? He's it was a all-round decent performance from him. You know,
do you know what, mate? I think I see a stat last night that since January 2020, he scored 28 goals.
Yep.
In all competitions, and no penalties.
No, exactly. And that's it. It just shows how much of a great signing he has been for us, and he's just carried that form on from club into his country. And it said perfect hat trick for a centre midfielder to score a perfect hat trick.
In 16 minutes as well. In 16 minutes,
and the second goal, what a strike! He hits it low and hard into the bottom corner. But
Hello. As I said, mate, his value just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah, that's it. And it's what in a way it's a good thing. In a way, obviously, vultures start sniffing around, don't they? They start, but look, he's happy at the club. The club are performing well. He's only 1 year into his 18 months into his deal almost by the end of the season. So I can't see him going anywhere. To be honest, I think
Scott, my old pedigree chum, there's rumours that Man United are looking at him. To me, and this is a bold statement, I think Thomas Souček can walk into any of the top 4 clubs in the Premier League and be a starter as well. And I'm even including Man City in that. That's how good I think Thomas Souček is. Yeah,
because he's got a lot of his all-round game. He can do the defensive work. And he's a massive attacking threat, and he gives teams like City that.
Here he is, look, okey cokey, in out, you shake it all about.
He adds that aerial threat as well, which some teams, Man City, they haven't got a lot of big players. The centre halves are big, but obviously when you start moving further forward, they're a bit shorter, so he gives them an aerial presence. But I just don't see him going nowhere unless we have a disastrous season. Next season, the guy's settled. He looks happy. His best mate's playing for us as well. So why move? Things are going rosy at the minute. Just keep progressing.
What do you reckon, Nick?
What, Souček?
Thomas Souček can walk into any of the top 4 clubs and be a starter.
I think he. I think he can. Of course, he can. He's like that position that he plays, that all-round midfielder, like. The size of him, his goal scoring abilities, his passing and stuff can do with a little bit of brushing up a little bit. He's not the greatest of passers, but I don't think you ask a man like him to be the greatest of passers. You want him to get the ball, you want him to give it to someone that can play, the likes of Lingard, and then you want him to be in the fucking box, and that's where he shines. I can't think of anybody who's a similar sort of ilk. Matic, maybe.
No,
he's old.
He's not got the goal scoring threat, is he? When you look at Matic,
he did have. He's getting on a little bit.
Yeah, but I think Matic is at his best when he is just a holding midfielder. My mates at work who support Chelsea said when he just done that, he was pretty decent. And you saw that at United when he went to United, when he played that holding midfield role and just done that, the breaking up the play. And that he was better. As soon as they started adding going forward to his game, he looked pretty ordinary.
Yeah, I think he's the sort of player that the likes of Arsenal thought that a couple of them midfielders like Torreira and things like that would be. And it's just it's a great find from him. And it's all about. And we look down at West Ham. We love players like this. It's all about hard work, determination. Positive thinking, you work hard, you get your rewards. And I think the two Czech lads are they're epitomes of that, to be honest.
I think there's a few players that definitely deserve new contracts. I mean, when Dimitri Payet was at West Ham, they used to give him a new contract every single week, it felt like, just because he'd done a few tricks and flicks. But Declan Rice and Thomas Souček, they're a must. We must tie them down to new, better, improved, longer contracts.
100%.
I mean, I'm impressed by Souček every game I see. And do you know what I love about him as well? He plays with a smile on his face. He's a threat in both boxes. It's rare that you see midfielders like him anymore. He's like a throwback midfielder, any old-fashioned. Like we used to see a lot in the 90s.
Listen, mate, he's the glue. He's the glue that holds it all together. He's the thing that we've been missing for a long time. Honestly, it's a thing we've been missing. We've done really well to find Thomas Souček. I don't know who found him. I don't know who the fuck picked him out, but whoever did had done a good job there.
And Soufal as well, mate. For what we paid for both of them, combined, is less than what I've seen average players go for. And these two now, I mean, what did we sign Souček for? Was it 20 million in total? Something like that? 18 or 20 million?
16 million, we're not.
I think it was 20 with the initial loan fee.
Yeah. What's he worth now? 60?
Exactly. That's
even more.
I'd say, yeah. Another good season, mate. You're talking 100.
That's the thing. It's what we'd have to pay to replace him. And realistically, if you can't see another player out there doing his job, you've got to replace that one player with two players.
And not only that, with how good he is, he's actually freed up Declan Rice a bit more and taking the pressure off of Declan Rice. And he's expressing himself now on a lot more on the football pitch. I mean, look at the run he done against Arsenal. Yeah. You wouldn't have seen him do that last season or a season before. He's getting a free role to do that now, and that's because he's got someone like Souček. Someone said it the other day. I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Jamie Carragher or someone like that. And saying that Souček and Rice are the best centre midfield partnership in the Premier League.
Yeah, I can see that because the way they complement each other, and that's what. And you see Souček scored his hat-trick, straight away. Rice is on Twitter tweeting out congratulations.
They complement each other like me and Nicky used to compliment each other on the dance floor.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's what you want to see because that shows there's a good feeling around the squad, a good feeling in the dressing room, and the fact that the players are that pally with each other and get on so well when they click together. It's just going to keep. We just got to keep adding the right little mixture to the squad.
I love it because the first, I think, 10 games, every time they played a game West Ham, it was a bit like Soufal couldn't believe his luck that he was in the Premier League. He'd have a photo with Souček in the middle of the pitch going like that, as if to say like, "Oh fucking hell, cheers, mate. Thanks for this. Thanks for bringing me along.
Thanks for inviting me along."
Yeah, that's it. It was just like that. It's wonderful to see, and it's not just that. There's lots of elements to being a success at a club, and you can see the way that they conduct themselves, the way that I don't know what the fuck's going on with these Czechoslovakian ambassadors and things like that, but whatever's going on, they're doing great work for charities and things like that. They're getting involved. They're getting all of these people involved, and I see a couple of people sort of starting to quit because they met the Sullivan boys the other day. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's happened to Dave Sullivan. He looks like he's had a right lockdown fucking meal, that cunt. He looks fat face and curly hair and all that. And then people start to sort of question the their motives and all of that sort of thing. Are they? Why is he going to do that? He don't give a shit about that. Like they're trying to make.
If they're trying to get involved in the club, they're going to have to meet Sullivan.
Of course, yeah. If they want things from the club, then unfortunately they're the people that they have to meet. And it's they're trying to get some. I'm pretty sure they're trying to get a Slavia Prague and West Ham friendly going, and you can't do that without permission from the club. I'm afraid you can't just rock up at the stadium on the day and start kicking the ball about like you used to go over the memorials, and when the Sunday League team players left their fucking nets up. You know what I mean? It's the way the world is at the minute, and I just think. They've got. I think there was a picture the other day of Soufal. He gets buses. He was at a bus stop.
Yeah.
They're down to earth guys, and it's
They remind me of the footballers of the past in the sense of the footballers that were approachable. A lot of modern day footballers now they live in a different world. They're cut off from the fans, cut off from what.
Funny enough, right? before we take some comments on this, I'll let you finish your sentence 1 minute. This, I think, what you just said there is going to segue us nicely into the next thingy about how the world is changing and how fan interaction and all that has got to go down, and we'll talk about that in a second. But go on, finish your point.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. You know, they when we've met players of the past, you know, even when back to like when you and Ryan used to go down to the training ground, you know, the players sort of accepted you as the fans. They spoke to you and all that. A lot of modern day players now, they don't do that. You know, they keep you at arm's length. They don't want a lot to do with it. Everything to do with the fans seems like a chore. But with these guys, they seem that old school type of footballer. They're getting paid to do something that they love, and they're enjoying it, and they want to involve people and be inclusive with people, and they've got that, as I said, that old fashioned. And too many young players nowadays have had poor role models to look up to. Now the players at the club should be looking up to these guys, because if they've influenced first team players to train harder and to get in and on their days off and things like that, that is what we want to see the youngsters looking up to, not these players who sit around moping, sulking, going on strike when they don't want to play, throwing their toys out the pram. You know, we want to see these more professional type players, old-fashioned professional players, and that's what them two remind me of.
The thing is with Souček and Soufal as well, what it's proved is that you don't always have to spend big to find quality. I know a lot of people want us to spend big money on players and that, but sometimes you don't have to spend big. It's about the right scouting system and spotting the right players, and sometimes you can get lucky. I mean, we was lucky with Lanzini when we signed him. We picked him up for nothing.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, right? But my opinion is, you know, I don't want to take a dab. I don't think there is the right scouting system there, unfortunately.
No. But what I'm saying is, obviously, someone has scouted him and got him at a good price. So it just goes to show that if you do look out, you can pick up a gem. But just before we move on to the thing I know you want to talk about,
let's take some comments quickly before we do that. Go on.
No, I was going to say the other player as well that starred was Jesse Lingard, who manned the match for England last night against. Look, I know it was San Marino, but he's back in the England squad. He's playing with a smile on his face. He started last night. He got an assist.
Everywhere, mate.
I tell you what, though, mate. I read some stats from last night's game, and when I read this thing, I've always thought this with teams like San Marino and all that, they shouldn't be involved in World Cup qualifying groups with England. That they should have their own separate one with all the other lower base teams, countries, just to give them a chance. Because listen to some of these stats, right? England have won all 7 of their matches against San Marino by a score of 42-1. San Marino, right, have lost 140 of their 143 qualifying matches for World Cup and European Championships, and they drew the other 3. So they've never won a qualifier. And this stat here, I was amazed when I read this. England had 22 shots in the first half, 3 more than San Marino managed in their whole of their last World Cup qualifying campaign. 19. Like, well, come on, man. Teams like these, they should be involved because everyone should have their right to be involved, but put them in a separate group with the other lower league.
But they don't want them in the tournaments, really.
But put them in there with but put them in there with like the lower ones like Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. Leave the bigger nations like England. Let us mix with the big boys.
But that's why they've done the Nations League, to try and to give these small countries a chance. You look at the Nations League. The last Nations League, them 2 of the draws that they've had in their last few competitive matches have been in that Nations League, and they had I think a 0-0 draw with somebody, and the players were crying because it ended a 40-game losing run. And that's how much it means to them.
Who was that? Sheffield United.
It's they've got to be involved. But what I think people need to do is
they ain't. They ain't got to be involved. They should get on rankings. That's what they should do. I'm not saying like don't have qualifiers, but they're going to be the lowest of the fucking low ranking. There's no point in them being there. They're wasting their fucking time. Apart from the fact giving a couple of people the chance to go and play at Wembley twice a year and all of that sort of thing, why should they be involved? There should be a ranking system. Why? Well, they're wasting everyone's time.
That's what I'm saying. There's no point. I think our Sunday League team, Thames Ironworks, are ranked higher than San Marino.
That's what I'm saying. Like they ain't got to be involved. It ain't even a fucking country. It's a city.
You know what? Right, that yesterday's game. Did you watch the game? Right, did you watch the game?
Yeah. I mean, it was like a training ground exercise, wasn't it?
But that's the most I've ever seen San Marino in our half. Any time that I've seen them play, and in one of them games,
what makes me laugh, right, is that San Marino are trying to play it out from the back, like they're going to do that.
But good on them for trying. Do you know what I mean? It's
oh yeah, fair play, well done.
Yeah.
Give them a gold star and a certificate, and say thanks for coming to your next qualifiers.
They're ranked the worst in the world, and they're a bit hard done by in it because there is worse teams out there in the world, but they don't get to play them because what they need is a lot of competition for them lower league, them lower countries to compete to get more competitive football.
They need a qualifier. They need a qualifiers to qualify for the qualifiers. But look. I'm just happy to see Lingard playing with a smile on his face. He's proven a lot of people wrong. I'm excited to see him in the last 9 games for West Ham, what he can bring, because barring any injuries now, he should start every game. And
the thing is with it, it's like just finishing up. It's important. It's important that he's in this England squad. He's a player who, is a proud Englishman. He's one of the few that I know that actually fucking likes playing for England. Mm-hmm. He's had 3 years out of the side, or nearly 4 years out of the side. No, he played in the World Cup, didn't he? So he's had 2 or 3 years out of the setup. He's not getting consistent games at Man United. I mean, the boy's nearly 28 years old, and he's not consistently played for a side, and that's why he's found himself out of the England setup. That's why that's why he's not been playing for Man United. He's played like 1 or 2 games in this season, and all of a sudden he's rocked up at West Ham. He scored, I think, 6 goals, isn't it? 6 goals. He scored 5 goals, 5 or 6 goals.
6 in 8.
In 8 games. He's playing week in, week out. He's found himself back in the England setup. He's obviously happy with what he's doing, and it gives us massive, because I think with a player like Lingard, who is going to be used sparingly. People keep on saying, I think Man United block it. They want him to come back and all that. Man United are a big enough club that they can turn around and say to him, look, Jesse, look, what do you want to do? You've been here for all your life. You're getting a run of games at West Ham. And I think he'll turn around and say, I want to go. I want to go to West Ham. I'm enjoying playing regular football. I'm enjoying being back in that England setup. And he's shown over the last couple of weeks. It's weird because I've never rated him. Like, I've never really rated him.
Same, I didn't rate him.
See, that's where I'm different, because I have rated him. When especially for England, I have rated him, and he is a decent player. He just needed a new lease of life, and he's got that at West Ham. And the worrying thing for me, mate, is that the better he plays, and especially in these last 9 games, there'll be other clubs looking at him in the Premier League.
Yeah, there will be, but he won't forget the team that have given him that platform and that new lease of life. I don't think, anyway. He seems to enjoy himself here, and it's going to be a massive influence on whether we can keep him or not. I don't think it'll raise.
Maybe he just needed that big lifestyle change, mate. Get out of Manchester, move down to London with his family. Different lifestyle, and some players can adapt to that straight away. And it's proved that he has. He's playing with a smile on his face. And it's not only him, mate. It looks like a lot of the West Ham players are playing with a smile on their face. I know results obviously make a difference, but long may it continue.
Right. Let's get into this. Let's take the comment.
Wait. Before we move on, 1 second, right? I want to ask your 2 opinions. So I had a chat with a guy in work who's a Chelsea fan about this. Do you think that Lingard staying with us will depend on where we finish in the table? I.e., if we finish within the European qualifier,
I think we will finish within the European qualifiers anyway. But of course, it's going to have some sort of
It would make I think if we finish in the Europa League spots, or even better in the Champions League, which is a big ask, but I think it does, because it generates more money, doesn't it, for us to improve more in the squad. But maybe if we did slip outside the Europa and finish around 7th, something like that. I don't think 7th gets Europa, does it?
I think it will depend on.
It depends on the cups and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, if Lingard's probably seen enough in the manager and the squad to think to himself, yeah, there's enough here for me to stay here and we'll go again next season. And plus, he'll probably be thinking, I want to play in front of a full stadium. I want to play in front of a big stadium at the London Stadium in front of 60,000 West Ham fans and show him what I can do. So yeah, I think as long as he's happy, then yeah, he's I reckon he's seen enough to stay and want to play for us next season.
Yeah, that was my feeling.
Stop cutting in. Let's take some fucking comments. We've been talking for half an hour. We ain't took a fucking single comment. Alan Mikey says, not going to happen, but if a fan come in for Souček and Rice for 200 million, would you accept it? No, definitely not. Anyone else? Would you accept it?
I don't know. I didn't see the fucking question. You picked it off so quick.
I read it. Not going to happen, but if a club came in for Souček and Rice for 200 million, would you accept it?
Well, I'll be honest. That'll be it's not my money, but that'd be hard for the club to turn down.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But Philip Demicoli says Souček is priceless in my eyes. Miss Emirates says I both hope Souček and Soufal stay because he's been ace, proper work ethic, proper passion. Souček is able to do what he does because of Declan Rice. Says Daniel Wakeman. Matthew Rainey says Soufal for me has been our best right back for a good 8 years. I did rate Jenko, but he was on loan. He's been the best right back I think I remember. To be honest with you, I can't think of many better than him. Alistair Well, maybe Lucas Neal. Alistair Well, I'm really happy to see the banter between players on social media. Something we haven't seen in a long time. Just shows the togetherness in the squad. Gary Page, can you imagine when a stadium full if they keep us all in there because they will want to show us their love? Let's take some on the England situation. Preslov, I think all you guys would have played for England last night and would have still beaten San Marino.
I reckon we'd have conceded one.
Yeah, but maybe. With Scott in goal, we definitely would have. Scott Wilson says, should we start looking for players who have come up the leagues with various clubs but have raised their game at various level? James Game says, did you see Jay Lings turn up to the England setup in his West Ham gear, in his West Ham tracksuit? Yeah, I did see that. Hate qualifiers. Football should be like rugby and cricket. The top boys qualified and the minnows fight out to join the finals. Yeah, there's loads of comments here. Got a super chat from Stuart Ling. Thank you. Good evening. Evening, lads. Cheers for keeping me going during lockdown. Gives us all something to look forward to every week. Have a beer on me. Thank you very much. Dog and Bone 3 up should be 4 equals draw. I don't know what the fuck that means. I've just clicked on some random comment there. Stevie Bell says, trouble is the way Lingard is playing, his price is going to go through the roof. I don't think it will. I think he's been with Man United for long enough now. He's only got a year left on his contract as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They can't ask for ridiculous money. I mean, if they was talking, they wanted 15 million for him before they loaned him to us, and now they might up it a little bit to 20-25, then you can't complain. But yeah, as you said, he's only got a year left. So what are they going to want? An unhappy player for a year or take 20 million?
I think someone that's been with a club that long, as long as he has, I think clubs like Man United can afford to let him go for what they asked of him. And just quickly, Patrick Murray said, get rid of Anderson, put them more money towards buying Lingard.
Well, the thing is, I mean, they're looking to get rid of Anderson, and in the title as well, Lanzini today has been linked with a move to PSG. He was close to joining them in the transfer window, but it collapsed at the last minute. So if they're looking at 15 million for Lanzini, you'll probably get 15 to 20 million for Anderson.
If Lingard's 15 and they're looking for 15 for Lanzini, fuck me.
No, but Yarmolenko looks like, you're probably looking 10 million for him if we can get that. I think there's going to be a few players leaving, and yeah.
Fuck. The thing with Yarmolenko leaving is the wages, isn't it? It frees up a big chunk of wages as well.
Yeah, that's the wages is the big thing. Let's get into the big subject then, the Jared Bowen stuff. If you're new, you see what the stuff that's been digged up by what they call West Ham fans on Jared Bowen. Scott, we'll start with you. Opinions, please.
Look, it was when he was a kid. He was 14 years old. You all make mistakes when you're younger. You shouldn't, to drag it up now is ridiculous, in my opinion. At the end of the day, you learn as you get older. You know, you make mistakes when you're younger and you learn from them mistakes. You know, we all know there's no place for any type of racism within any type of, you know, any type of our society, whether it's football, whether it's walking down the street, anything like that. But this was years ago, you know, and this is the thing. As much as people drag this up, I don't think they realise the effect that sometimes it has on the person that said it as a teenage boy. And you know, that's what it all boils down to. He was a teenage boy. You educate yourself, you get educated, you learn a lot more. You realise that these mistakes get made, and you make the mistake, and you have to learn from them. And I just don't see the point in dragging it up.
It's Twitter kids who spend their whole entire. I mean, how long do you have to go back through a Twitter account to find tweets from? What was it? 8 years ago.
2012, I think it was.
2012, so 9 years ago. He was a boy. Tell me now, right? And this is where it's going to get a little bit controversial. There, obviously, then it's not a good word to say. I don't like the word.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like the word, right? But I'm gonna be a little, and I'm not denouncing any sort of racism or anything like that, and I'm not turning around and saying anything of the sort, right? But it's a word that if you put on the radio, not so much the radio, but if you put on an iPod or you put on an MP3 player or you put on Spotify, you can quite easily find that word very easily accessible in certain genres of music, right? Now, that's what I would say, yeah? Tell me now that you have never said anything as a child or put your opinion out as a child online or whatever and not regretted it. Tell me now, have you ever put something out and you looked at it a few years later and thought, oh, fucking hell, you know, that's a bit, you know, cut and shut. Now, what I would say is the people saying like, you know, it's fucking ridiculous, and you know, I see lots of outrage about it and all of that. A word doesn't make you a racist.
No.
One word, saying a word, right? No matter what, you know, no matter what walk of life you're from. Like, I'll come in tonight, right? God's honest truth. Now, I come in tonight from work, yeah, and Chloe cooked the dinner last night, and she hadn't done the washing up, right? And I walked in, and I walked to the sink, and there's all these fucking dishes that need to be. And you know the first words I said? Fucking woman, right? But does that make me a sexist? Because in my household, right, I don't expect her to cook. I don't expect her to clean. I don't expect her to, you know, do the things that traditional, you know, sexist and that sort of thing would expect. In fact, I would say she has more say in my household than I do, and she's got more, you know, more. What's the word? I want to try and word it without, you know, getting offensive or anything like that. But she's got more clout in my household than me. Yeah, there's no word of sexism at all. So saying one word does not make you a racist, especially when it's very readily available on Spotify. He's a child. I've heard my child say it. He was listening to music and he said the word. And the first thing I had to do is I had to sit him down and say to him, listen, son, that is a bad word. We don't use that word readily. We don't use it. It's a bad word. It offends people. And he's never used it since. Right? Never. So it's all about the context of what you use it in, right? He's a 12-year-old, 14-year-old kid that's written say, are we really going to go that far into society where we cleanse it? Because if you cleanse everything, right? See people saying, this is fucking ridiculous. He's a cunt. You know, why didn't they just go through his social media and cleanse his account? Why not take hold of it? You know, admit to that it was wrong and educate from it. Because if we keep on cleansing everything, what's to stop the next generation from making the same mistakes? Because if you cleanse everything, there's no record. If we wiped all history, how do you know what happened before and the mistakes that were made? You can't just keep on cleansing things and cancelling people and all that. And there's been a lot of this going on this week this cancel culture. I see one of the YouTubers that said something a little bit offensive, and that's sort of cancelled that. You can't be held accountable for what you say as a child, to a certain extent, yeah. But saying something stupid like that when you're 14 or 12 or whatever, how can you come back then when he's a man and he's been educated and everything else, and turn around and go naughty, like ban him from it and all that? And the people that drag these things up, they're always private accounts, right? They're always the same people. They're always and I tell you, I'm going to tell you a few like harsh. The people that are retweeting this and digging these things up, get off on finding things like this. And believe me, right, the same people and the same accounts that all hide behind social media and these footballer abbeys and all that are the ones that message friends of mine that have DM'd us and accused us of things like paedophilia, rape, and things like that. They always try to offend to get their laughs. Offense makes them laugh. And it's always the same people doing the same things. And it's all about that little bit of clout. I'll tell you now, I hope, right? And I'm not saying it's a bad word. Jared Bowen's come out and rightly apologised for it. Obviously, he was a kid at the time, said it was wrong, recognised it's wrong. But I hope that these people that do this get exposed, because some of the things they've said to friends of mine, some of the things they've said to me, the same kids, the same accounts, the same people hiding behind these things. If they come out and it gets exposed who they are going to be in big trouble, because I know them. They've said some nasty things to some prominent people, and the things they've accused people of and all of that sort of thing. But that's my opinion anyway. You can't, why? Educate, apologise, move on. Don't, we can't spend all of our time cleansing what's gone on. It happened. He's owned his mistake. Say it's wrong, educate from it.
Well, that's it. That's the thing. It's like with everything, things in the past that happened in the past. You don't delete them from history, because it's how you learn. It's how you learn to be a better person. It's how
you learn more from your mistakes, Scott, than you do from success. You
learn. Society as a whole learns from the mistakes that people made way back when. Lots of things went on that should never have gone on and stuff like that. But we learn from them things that went on back then, that we make sure, one, we don't do them now, and we make sure we don't let anybody else do them. And that's the thing. That's what history is about. You learn from the mistakes that were made in the past to make the future better. And if you delete what was the mistakes that were made in the past and wipe them off existing and don't teach kids the mistakes that were made in the past, you're then leaving things open to go completely wrong. You need to know what is wrong and what is right. And the only way to know what is wrong and what is right is to look at the past and say, that was wrong. Now we've got a way of going forward and putting things right. And that's what it is. But, it is tough. Look, you can see why some people, in a way, think that he should be held accountable for what he said, and you can also see the other argument that he was a youngster, he's learning from his mistakes. So you can see both sides of the arguments. But for me, in that how to word it the right way, it's the term that he was using it in wasn't a term as that he was, from what I've seen of it, he wasn't being racist. Do you know what I mean? It was in the term a bit like a song lyric from how I look at it.
Well, the thing is, Scott, you say that, if you look at the hashtag, the way he's worded it, we grew up in an era, and I suppose a lot of people in the chat, where rap music was massive, and it was that era where that word was said in a lot of songs. The way he spelt that is actually a title of an album from remember Wu-Tang Clan? Remember them?
Yeah, Wu-Tang Clan. Yeah.
So look, I'm not saying what Bowen said is right. He should. Well, look, as Nicky said, we all make mistakes. We've all, I get Facebook memories pop up sometimes, and I delete some of the things because I cringe at them, and I think, what the fuck was I writing that for? Nothing racist, but you just look at things and you think, why have I written things like that? He used to delete them. It's because I'm a lot different now at 37 than I was at 27, as I was at 17, as I was at 7. You go through decades in your life where things change, things move on. You know, okay, Bowen's made a mistake, but he's held his hands up. He's deleted the comments. He's apologised. West Ham looking into it. The FA looking into it. It's fair enough. Doesn't make Bowen a racist. Doesn't make him a racist at all. You know, I'm sure there's people in this chat now that have said things, you know, that they regret. You know, there's people watching this now. We've all done, as I said, we've done stuff and said things that we regret. No, I'm not saying they're racist things, but it could be all types of things. But, you know, as I said, life and moves on and decades change. And what would it be like in another 10 years' time? I dread to think, if I'm honest. But look, it's one of them things, you know. It's just a shame that it's taken apparently West Ham fans to dig up a tweet that now, if the FA look into it, can ban him, because they banned Cavani for his tweet after the game. They banned, I think it was the Crystal Palace goalkeeper for doing a Nazi salute in a picture when he was out at a restaurant for 6 games. So West Ham could lose Bowen now for 2 or 3 games, and our squad's thin enough already. And if we lose one of our most important players, you know, it's crazy. Let me just.
This is important to bring up as well. The players being abused currently are mainly from kids posting racist remarks, and we want these kids scrutinised. What is the difference between Bowen and these kids? Just my opinion. I'll tell you what the difference between him and these kids were. He said a word. These kids are directing vile, disgusting abuse at people. Mm-hmm. There is a massive difference, and I think this is where sometimes our society is getting confused between, you know, what racism is and isn't. And I'm not here to tell anyone what racism is and isn't. I don't like the word. I don't want the word said in end of day. But saying a word 9 years ago and then apologising for it, a word, just one word, it wasn't like he was aiming it at anybody. And then, you know, emailing Wilfred Zaha or Instagramming Wilfred Zaha, directing, yes, please, directing total abuse at them is completely different. You do need to be scrutinised. You do need to be pulled up on that. But saying a word doesn't necessarily make you a racist.
I think it's the way.
Doesn't necessarily make you a sexist.
I think if it's the way you say something as well. Like if you're saying it from a song lyric, but if you went up to someone of another religion or race and you was racist towards them, but that's totally different. That's another level, you know. But it's just it's a touchy subject, you know, and you got to be very careful these days.
There'll be probably someone that clips something about this and then start. You know, we've had it before, right? Well,
we were saying last week.
We'll direct you through, mate. We had look. I'll tell everyone a story. And it involves you, and it doesn't so much involve Scott. A couple of years ago, we had a pretty public falling out with, you know, a journalist. I won't name him because I just don't want to be quite honest with you. But we had a pretty public, and the first port of call. I don't like journalists. I don't know whether you've ever noticed, but on this channel, I think journalists are scumbags. I think they're absolute parasites, to be quite honest with you.
Not all of them.
Not all of them. No, not all of them, right?
No,
there are a few good ones out there, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and then we was having arguments. There was no issue of race ever. You know, the debate was about racism, but there was no issue of. They started accusing us of racism because he was Jewish. And
well, it started with me, didn't it? Because I said, "Oh, look, typical journalist trying to sell a story for money," and he'd come back with his reply was, "Oh, typical Jew," and I said, "Well."
Yeah, it was like that, and that's how the way it went. He was putting the context on comments that had nothing to do with the context, right? And it wasn't just that; is that we started getting sort of these tweets from an account, and I've got a pretty good idea who this account was, and it was West Ham fans against fascism. This was the account, right, on Twitter. Now he used that situation. Now the journalist twisted our words to you know. to make it look like we was being racist, right? The journalist twisted our words, and he started tweeting us and DMing us, right, and publicly trying to shame us into endorsing his account, right? Endorsing it. So he would turn around and say, retweet this, and we'd say, basically he was the guy was insulting us, right? This is the situation we got into. This journalist was chucking personal insults. This guy was retweeting them, he was laughing at them, he was liking them and all that. Then all of a sudden he'd send out a tweet and he'd say, retweet this for us, and we'd say, like, fuck off, like, you know, you're retweeting all the things calling us idiots and morons and laughing at us and all that. And he'd go, oh, what? Are you a racist then? Because if you don't retweet what I've... And we got into that sort of situation, right? And it just so happened, these arguments happened in the same couple of days that the Mohamed Salah thing. Do you remember when Mohamed Salah... We played Liverpool on a Monday night. Mm-hmm. And the Mohamed Salah thing happened, and the guy, you know, shouted a few racist comments out. And the guy started, you know, we blocked the guy because he was offending us and all of this sort of thing, and he was being derogatory towards us. And then he retweeted the Mohamed Salah thing, and because we didn't retweet it because he asked us to retweet it, all of a sudden we're racist. There's people calling us racist. We got, you know, people saying, oh yeah, they hate Muslims. All this because we didn't answer. Because we expressed our right to block him because he was endorsing someone, calling us like idiots and cavemen. You know, it just because, and that's how it can snowball, you know. And then all of a sudden, and of course we retweeted it, but then I had to, he tried to force us into a corner where, you know, our account, who's got nearly 20,000 followers, was endorsing him. And if we didn't endorse him, all of a sudden, well, you must be racist then. You must be racist. And he backed us into a corner. And that's what I call something called fighting fascism with fascism. They're trying to back you into a corner and force you to do what they want to do. And if you don't do what they want you to do, they're saying, you must be a fascist. Mm-hmm. It just got ridiculous like that. And in the end, I just said, look, we're totally against it. In the end, I DM'd him and said, we're totally against racism. We'll find our own way to fight racism. We don't need to endorse you. I'm going to block you respectively and all of that sort of thing. But that's the way it goes, man. That's the way it goes.
I think the one thing with, I mean, I see a story tonight about Thierry Henry. He's going to delete all his social media because of the racism and all that. And maybe it might take something like that for all these high-profile people to start deleting their social medias and that. But they'll always eventually come back on it. So the sad thing is that racism will always be there. You're never going to get rid of racism. It'll always be there. But it's just how you deal with it. You know, and it's how you deal with the people that are racist. You know, social media can play a massive part in this. You know, why is it that an account can go and abuse 5 or 6 black football players, get blocked, and then 30 seconds later start up a new account?
Exactly.
That's what's wrong. Yeah. Why don't they start doing it where you've got to put card details or your passport number or something, or you've got to be, or your driving license number, just so they can track you? Because I think a lot of people would think before they tweeted. And you shouldn't be allowed to make a fake account unless you've got like a real name, not a name with numbers behind it, and you've got to put a profile picture and things like that. Something they can
do you know what? I got no idea. We've got an account on Twitter that isn't linked to us. We're West Ham Fan TV. It hasn't got a profile picture on it. We ain't you know, nobody would know it was us if you was looking in for the first time, right? And you didn't know what it was. I'm totally, you know, if these people with avatars and all of that sort of thing want to, you know, they want to have what's the word? I always fuck this up. Anonymity, yeah, anonymity, right? Then you're entitled to that. That's the freedom of free speech. But what it doesn't entitle you to is to make someone's life a fucking misery because no one can trace you. You should have to behind the scenes. Passport, driving license. If you say anything out of hand, we know the fuck you are. Simple as that.
I'll tell you one thing I'll say, mate, and I watched a program last week, and I'll advise, I don't care what you think of this woman, go and watch the documentary. It was the Caroline Flack documentary that was on last week. Go and watch that documentary, and then you will think a lot more clearer than before you tweet or say something, because you see how it affects life. Because there are so many people in this world that have tweeted someone and not even known that person could have killed themselves. And they don't even know about it. And they go around their life, you know, they laugh and joke, but they affect so many people. Just go and watch that documentary. It was on Channel 4 last week. Honestly, it was so sad to watch because she got so much shit and it wasn't even
I saw a similar thing about the girl from Little Mix. Similar sort of thing.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
That is it. This is when I said to you guys ages ago, you know, social media is such a good thing, but it's one of the worst things that was ever invented.
Do you know what was sad about that Jessie? You know what was sad about that Jessie from Little Mix one is that my daughter is a massive Little Mix fan. I took her to see Little Mix last year. Sorry, not last year, the year before. And she loved it. She's loved them. She's got posters on the wall. She loves them. And she watched that documentary. Now, my daughter was 12 at the time, and she's watching that. One of her heroes, the girl that she loves, getting all that abuse. And that's why I tell my daughter, stay off social media. Do not go on social media. It shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be like that.
And that's the thing. You know, that's the problem. You know what kids are like. You know what social media is like, and it worries me. My daughter's now turning 17. You know, when you sit there and look at, you know, she's got a Facebook, she's got an Instagram, but I know her mum more than me because obviously she lives with her mum. I know her mum was really worried about her going on these sort of things because she knows what goes on, what can happen to kids, and you see it in a lot of TV programs, things like that, where you know, you see kids getting abused, the kids that don't fit in, they're not the popular kids at school and stuff like that, and that's what happens. The abuse that they receive, and then they start doing things. You know, their mental health suffers. They start you get self-harming. You know, even suicidal because of things that people say, and not with youngsters. Especially with school kids, some of them do it from their own accounts, but from a hidden account.
The thing is as well, someone's just mentioned it there about that Caroline Flack, and it's a massive thing. And I've said it to you loads of times before, Nick, is that Ollie Murs and Caroline Flack were both getting tweets at the same time, hurtful tweets. The difference between them two is Ollie Murs didn't read them, Caroline Flack did. Yeah. She was obsessed with reading the hateful tweets, and it gets you. And I've said to you before, Nick, is like when someone's tweeting you stuff, I've said just ignore it. Just ignore it. And I used to be the same. I used to be exactly the same. But then I learned to ignore them. I blocked them, and I don't really get that much shit anymore. And anytime someone does give me a bit, listen, if someone has a go at me for something I've said on here, I'll get it in the YouTube comments sometime. I'll always reply back. And 9 times out of 10, that conversation will end with, top man, thanks for replying. It's opinions and all that. But you always get one that goes over the top. Block them. They never go over the top again.
I mean, I'd lie. I'd be a liar if I could sit here and say nothing ever affects you. I'm thick-skinned, and I can laugh pretty much like a lot of stuff off.
I think the hair comments really get to me.
No, I can, but you know, you get some people. I had a guy that started digging me out the other week. It's like, you know, I wouldn't never class myself as famous or anything like that, but you know, when you put yourself on a pedestal, and a lot of people will turn around and say, like, you know, it's sort of same as Jared Bowen, and you're open to more scrutiny and all of that sort of thing. But you know, when you put yourself on a pedestal, it doesn't give anybody the right to insult you. And if you come back as a person, as a human being, to then go, look what he's doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, just because, you know, they want a bit of interaction, and 9 times out of 10, you know, and the thing is, what, you know, going back to the Bowen story, it's the shameful thing is, and all of that, like, you know, I see the kid, oh look, I'm getting more hate for retweeting the tweet than Jared Bowen is, for fuck's sake, and all that. Like, we will go positive in a minute, Kane, I promise, but it's you know, I think it's important to have these chats as well, as positive chats, but we'll go back to laughing and joking in a minute. But you know, he's taking that as an insult, you know what I mean? Like that, you know, he's getting more flack and all that. Of course he's going to get flack. He's dug someone out for nothing. Like look, it's a bad word, but he said it when he was a kid, man. He's educated now, and you're digging him out, and then you're complaining that you're getting the sad thing about this is, right, God's honest truth, and this is gonna hit home with a lot of people. That kid is probably sitting in his bedroom right now, wherever he is. If he's a 10-year-old kid or whatever, he's dug up this professional's old tweet, right? He's probably sitting there smiling to himself because he's probably did the most interaction he's ever had. He's probably did the most, tweets he's ever had. He's probably, and this is the sad thing about it is, and I think this is where it has to. There are some kids, and they're not just kids. Some of them are young men. To be honest with you, I know a few of them that hide behind these fake accounts, mate. I know a few of their names, and I know a couple of people that are going to get a good stern talking to when the football goes back, because we've had people talking about phone calls to my brother, talking about my mum, and bashing up my mum and things. And we know they are. Don't worry. They think they've got away with it, but that was over a year ago. But when we get back, and when we approach some of these people in the concourses, they're going to be fucking shocked that they are, and we know them. We know they are, but they get off on this sort of thing. This is what gets them off. They and during the lockdown period, the initial lockdown period, it got worse because they got bored. And this is the way of entertaining themselves. And they use these things like upsetting people, like the Caroline Flack thing, and upsetting me by talking to me about my mum and talking to my brother about, waiting for my mum outside her house. He knows where we live, and they're going to wait for her outside her house and bash her up when she goes to work in the morning. They know where she works. I've had it all. Believe me, I don't say it too much because I know that it's all hot air. But yeah, that's the sort of thing we got a couple of years ago when Ryan and myself, with all the March stuff, we got people telling us it was going to come to our house and do things to our families. They're gonna kill us. They're gonna slit our throats and chuck us over bridges and all. We had it all.
I'll tell you what. I'd love to see them get through my mum's front door with my dad there. That'd be a fucking lot.
But this is the thing, though, Ryan. This is the thing. It's and they love it. They love to see it.
Though, we put ourselves in the public eye. As you said, we're not celebrities. We do this as a bit of, because we love doing it. We've done it. I put a tweet out the other day. It was 6 years ago, the other day, that we started this channel. 4 mates sat down in the cafe and come up with West Ham Fan TV, and then obviously Dan joined a year or a year and a half, 2 years later. But we're just mates that enjoy doing this, and we don't see ourselves. Listen, I've seen some YouTubers walk around like they own West Ham, and I'm not like that. I'm me. You go back and look at the first post-match pint, apart from the hairline and a bit of weight, I ain't changed that much, so it is what it is. I know some people have got an ego and they love it. I'm not too fussed. I know who I am. I know where I'm from. I love my life. I've got good people around me. We're talking about racism a little while ago. I've got a mate who I've known for 26 years now. He's black. We're best mates. He's like a brother to me. We talk all the time. We've known each other 26 years, and I see him as a family member. And he loves me. I love him. Listen, it's the world we live in at the moment. You always feel like you've got to think before you say something, where 10, 15, 20 years ago, you didn't have to, because people would laugh it off. We spoke about it last week, Scott. Nicky weren't here. We spoke about comedy. Comedy should be borderline, where you think that's what comedy's about. That's what comedy should be. You should laugh at things that you shouldn't have to. You feel like you can't laugh at, but a lot of people do. And I always think that people that should be offended by it are not. It's the people around them that want to make a big issue of things. But it's the world we live in. And someone just said there, Gio and Emma chat think he owns West Ham. Gio definitely don't think he owns West Ham.
He does. He's got business shoes. I've seen them.
Gio's a top bloke.
He's got business shoes.
Yeah, there's a lot of people at West Ham, and I've had people come up to me in in concourses and say like, "Oh fucking hell, you ain't like what you thought you'd be." And when I think that, I think they mean taller, but they no, they probably, because sometimes like people look at you on a channel and they get a perception of you and they think you're going to be this over the top. But listen, I will, if this channel ended now, if Nicky and we all said no, let's give it up, I'll still get a season. I'll still be going West Ham home and away. I've been doing it for years. I've been doing it since I was allowed to go West Ham, so that's never going to change me.
No, we've always been the same. I think that's the good thing about it. But Scott, take some comments, mate. Go on, you do some fucking for a change.
No. Don't ask me to take.
Why he's looking for comments as well? I mean, a lot of people saying about social media, saying don't have Twitter and all that. The thing is with Twitter can be good, like all social media, because it's put us in contact with people. Like you go back, you start off with Facebook. You talk to old school friends that you're not in contact with. Twitter, you get to interact with football players. There's a lot of football players that I talk to and DM and interact, old players, and they've set up interviews and we've managed to meet these people. So there is a good side to Twitter as well. It's not all bad.
No, you are right, mate. You are right. And that's the thing, as I said, as much as I say it can be an awful place, there's a lot of good that comes from social media. It's just it's like a
listen,
lot of
the thing is, mate. Look, I'm gonna put a bit of positive spin on it because you're meant to be looking for comments, right? Put a bit of a positive spin on it. Yeah, we've seen I've seen personally the vilest people. I've told the police about things because I've been threatened like before when they said to me they're going to come up behind me. When I'm at the London Stadium interviewing someone, they're going to hit me over the back of the head with a claw hammer. You know what I mean? Like, and the police, they're not interested. Well, yeah. And I took them as threats of my life. But I've also seen this week a little boy had his bike stolen, and the whole fucking internet raised enough money to buy 10 bikes for him. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that's what they. And I've seen today. I've seen pictures on the internet which would have never been possible without social media of Isla Caton's mum meeting them Czech ambassadors, to do more charity work.
Well, I was just about to say that without Twitter and Facebook and social media, little Isla wouldn't have the
treatment. That's the thing. It's where I work. You guys up when I'm on call. When I'm on call, I'm on call to pick up stray dogs. To a lot of people, they may laugh things like that, but to some people, their dogs are their life. Their dogs are their kids. And there's a lot of social media, especially where I work, where there's groups now that you go on there. If you lose your dog, you post it. And there's people actually who go out there looking for people's dogs, and try and help and and that's the power of social media. We had a dog the other day went missing, and I got it, and the person then found it because someone on social media who had handed it into me, then got in contact with them because they'd seen their post on social media. So,
the thing is, this is the power of social media. We got a tweet last Sunday of a bloke that, tweeted us saying that he was basically saying he was ending his life. We didn't see that tweet. We didn't see that tweet until later in the day. I see the tweet. I tweeted him, asked him if he's all right. I was on the phone to Nicky at the time and I was out. I said, look, Nick, just like get in contact with him. And Nicky said, no, I'll contact the police. And they did, and they DM'd us, and they ended up going around there and finding him. And he was safe and well. But sometimes these tweets don't get picked up, So that was the power of social media. Within an hour, that got shared so many times that the police ended up going around there. And lucky enough and thankfully enough, he was safe and well.
That's it, and that's the thing. And again, that's when you look at with us, our DMs are always open if people want to talk, if people have got problems and stuff like that. And that is the good side of social media. If you sit there and you're sitting,
unless you ask for pint glasses and Nicky ignores them.
Yeah. But
I'm not ignoring anyone.
But if you're sitting indoors and you're feeling low and you're feeling down and you feel like you've got no one to turn to, DM us. We're always, one of us will always pick it up. And
well, the thing is, as soon as the pub's open, if anyone wants to chat and they want to take me out and buy me a pint, I'll meet up with anyone. I'll go for a pint on a Friday night. I'll jog these lot on and we'll go for a pint. And we're listen, Scott. Joking aside, listen. All our personal DMs are open. Our West Ham Fan TV. We've got a link to an email address. Listen, if someone wants to, you can put a lot in an email, more than what you can on social media.
Exactly.
Put it in an email, and we'll always reply.
That's it. And that's the one thing, you hear this a lot about a West Ham family, and you see that on social media. You see a lot of West Ham fans coming together to support each other, and this is what this show has done through the lockdown and people dealing with the anxiety of being stuck indoors and the uncertainty of not what's around the corner. And we've had people say to us that us doing this show, it's giving them a lift, it's giving them something to look forward to. I look forward to this. I said I've been really lucky. I've worked all the way through this. My life's been sort of normal.
Call that lucky.
Well, yeah, but
but the thing is, it's right. I mean, apart from 3 weeks during the first lockdown, I've been working all the way through, and I know Nicky, obviously you was out of work at one point, and it was tough for you, but. These shows, like the end of the week, it doesn't matter what goes on in the week, for a couple of hours on a Friday, you can sort of forget about everything, sit down, have a beer, have a chat, enjoy the chat with everyone, and see, Scott, see how smart I am. See, social media is good. I mentioned about going out for a pub. Look how many people are saying they're going to buy me a beer and want to take me out for a beer. I ain't got to put my hand in my pocket. I can be damned for the night.
I'll tell you what, I had a bit of positive news tonight. While Scott's still looking through the comments.
I've got some comments now. I've got some comments.
Right, okay. I had some positive news this week, which is, I've had a lot of bad news, and I think we all have. I'm sick of bad news, right? But I obviously... I lost my job during lockdown. I found it very tough to find work and all of that sort of stuff. So I ended up temping. I'm not going to tell you what I do because I legally can't, and I really don't want to lose this job. But I've worked my bollocks off in this job for what I would describe as juniors money, right? And I've worked really hard, and I'm really putting my all into this job. I'm a temp, and you're not. When you're a temp, you're not really allowed to apply for internal jobs and all of that sort of thing. And an internal job come up, and I'm desperate to get a permanent place there because I'm still a temp. I'm only contracted until the end of April was initially, but they've extended it to the 1st of June, and I want to become a permanent member of staff. And there's a position come up in a different department, and you're never allowed to. A temp has never been allowed to apply for a job in this place, but they're so impressed with my statistics and stuff and the way I've taken to the job, they've made an exception and allowed me to apply. And I'm not saying I've got the job or anything like that, but they've allowed me to, they've broken that rule and said no, I think it'd be worth him applying, and they've allowed me to apply. I had the Q&A today, putting in my CV, and then I'm gonna hopefully be getting the interview and that. But that's a bit of positive news, a bit of positive news.
I always said you'd make a good stripper, Nick, and I knew you did.
Yeah, I know you did, mate.
And the mad thing is, you only work around the corner from me.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it? Like you said the other week, how can two people from Dan ain't here, is he? We can say it. Two people from Canning Town end up working literally 20 years later. Literally, he's just around the corner. In fact, he sent me a picture of yesterday of him sitting outside my work. 10 to 8 in the morning.
It's a bit stalkerish, that though.
Well, to be fair,
I've got to drive past him to get in my house.
He was there before me. I think I'm still in bed at 10 to 8 these days. I live so close to my work now.
Right. Can we do a bit of Ask Us Anything? We'll do a bit of that later. But Scott, go on, take some comments.
Right. So Ryan, going back to earlier on, the group you were on about, I think, was NWA, the World Order. Peach mentioned that. I can't find the comment now.
Mark, that was an hour ago.
Yeah, I know. Well, this is it. I'm going back through some of the older comments. Mark says everyone should register proof of ID. Hammer Dread says track and trace social media.
Well, I see that. I did actually see Hammer Dread say that, and big shout out to Hammer Dread. Love him on Twitter, by the way. I see he got a bit of abuse today, which listen, no one deserves it, but he's a top man. But yeah, I think look, we all got track and trace for for the on our phones, so why not have it on social media? Surely they can do that. They can make that happen.
The sad thing is, right, with social media is they can track and trace anyone on social media. If you've sent something on social media, they know who the fuck sent it. It's just whether you're big enough or important enough for them to be able, to use the resources to track it. That's the problem. But there you go.
Hamid says, Ryan, I'm sorry I dished your hair once. I love you really, though.
No, this is what I'm saying, Mohammed. I sit here, and you abuse me like I'm only joking. But look, listen, I can take banter all day long. I can give it out and I can take it as long as it don't ever gets personal. I can take it all day long, and I'll have a conversation with anyone. I'll reply to comments all the time, and as I said, 9 times out of 10, it always ends on good terms, and I have my opinions. That person has their opinion. I mean, I had it on with last week when I criticised Antonio. Someone said to me, what was I on about? How can I and we had a conversation on Twitter, on YouTube, sorry, and it ended up like that. It's 2 people having a chat about football.
I think this is going on what I was saying about the kids' part. Kids are bullied physically at school, but now they're hounded at home on social media. That's again,
this is the thing, Scott, and we said this ages ago on Friday Night Pint when we had this similar sort of discussion. We used to go to school and you'd have a row in school or a fight in school, or after football, you'd have a disagreement in the pub. You'd go home, it's all forgotten about. Now it carries on all night. It carries on all night through social media, and that's the thing. Turn your phone off.
Which leads into this comment. Social media is not bad; it's how you use it. Which is, that is it. In a way, of what I said is being bad. It is how you use things. It's where it was. I've lost.
One more, Scott, and then we're going to go into the.
I've lost where I was. I ain't even looked at the new comments yet. So,
we'll be here all fucking night. Should we roll on to next Friday?
Where's Dan? Dan is
Hey, I just see him comment, the prick.
Dan is painting his girlfriend's house, room, sorry, and he's had a bit of a disaster by the sounds of what he told us earlier. So that's why.
The thing is, like with Dan going on about Canning Town, he posted a picture of himself in Canning Town the other day. I think he secretly loves Canning Town.
He loves it.
I think he does. And I think he's upset that he ain't from there.
Let me just answer this one quickly, Scott.
Sorry,
go on, after that one, go on.
No. So, Mr. Love you guys. You're so true and decent. Always humbled by you talking to me. So, thank you.
Hammerman.
Go on, mate. Sorry.
Hammerman TV says, "Hey Nicky, during the West Ham fan cam with me, I noticed you were annoyed. If I annoyed you during the fan cam, I'm sorry. I wasn't annoyed with you, mate. I was annoyed that we just pissed up a fucking 3-0 lead up the wall."
Hammerman TV, listen, he always looked annoyed. The only time I've ever seen him look happy is when you bring over a shot of Jaeger and he just smiled at you.
Or a small tank to eat.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Okay. There was something else. I wanted to. Did anyone watch me on Twitch last night?
Yeah, he's playing Super Bomberman or something, weren't you?
No, I was playing Legend of Zelda. I've got a new Twitch channel. Insert COYI 1982. Insert COYI 1982. This is it. I'm going to post a link here. No, do you know what it is, right? I've got you have to do like certain achievements, and have certain amounts of viewers to sort of like move up the levels of like followers. And that I want to get 100 followers, man. Insert COYI 1982. I'm going to put that on there. Nice. I was playing Zelda, Legend of Zelda last night. It was really good, man.
Yeah. I see it the other night when you were playing Mega Man. And it kept freezing. I think it was my phone.
No, it wasn't. It was my computer, but I sorted it out last night. It was a lot better. Looked a lot more professional. I don't know how to hyperlink it, mate. I have got no idea what that means.
Ring me up when you play Royal Rumble. What was it?
We started playing some WCW game, and fucking Johnny Knoxville was kicking the arse.
WCW.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I don't know, but like You have to have certain amount of viewers and that. And if you go over there and give us a follow, man, we'd be much appreciated.
But
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you're watching, give this a little thumbs up. It helps us out, and give us a little subscribe as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you don't support West Ham, you're going to follow 5 passionate football fans that I know we talk a lot about West Ham, but as you can tell tonight, we talk about a lot of subjects, and we do mention other football clubs as well, apart from Millwall and Spurs. They're the only mentions they get.
Nicky, talking about
for you, mate.
Go on.
If you boys go for the WWE, what would your wrestling names be? Me and Ryan used to talk about this for days at a
Nibble
time.
and sip.
Nibble and sip. It's Nibble and Sip. That's our tag team.
You know
Nibble
what? It's got to that point now where I see things in supermarkets. Like I see Meat Feast earlier, and I thought me and Nicky would take them at WrestleMania.
Yeah, we used to see things like Gin and Tonic and all that. It was Nibble and Sip versus Gin and Tonic. WrestleMania tag team titles. We used to fucking talk some bollocks.
Scott wants to say something.
No, I was going to put a comment up, but it's all right. I can't find it now, so don't worry. So what would your wrestler names be? Sorry, I was
Nibble and Sip.
Nibble and Sip.
And do you know how we got that name? We was queuing up in a where was we in a
hotel? It was in Bournemouth.
We was in a hotel in Bournemouth, and there was a sign that said "Nibble and Sip." We just for some reason said, "Right, that's our wrestlers' names." I don't even know why.
Luke's is Who's Rachel.
Who's Rachel? Yeah, Luke loves it. He knows the score, Luke.
What's yours then, Scott?
I don't know, mate. I've never thought about it.
Caesar salad.
Yeah. Sausage sandwich.
I'll let you two come up with my one. You'll think it's ain't good for me.
I reckon you and Graham could be pork scratching.
Describe yourself as a chocolate bar and the reason why.
I'd have to say I'm a Twix because I come twice.
Oh, mate. How'd you come off that one with that one?
I know. Do you know what? I'm proud of myself that I said that so quick. But yeah, I'm going to stick with that one. I like that one.
Scott?
I ain't very good at these things. Trying to come up with
Oh, for fuck's sake! You are useless.
Yeah, I am. I'm useless. I'm useless.
No, you know what you want to say, Scott. You're just embarrassing.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No, I ain't embarrassed to say it. I'm just. I wouldn't know what I would be. What?
I'd be a fruit and nut because of the hunky chunky almonds. They remember that advert. Everyone's a fruit and nut case.
Do you remember? What was the red car and the blue car had a race?
All right, was he eats everything from trucks to prickly trees. But smart old blue, he took the Milky Way. Oh no, the bridge is gone. Oh, the red can't carry on. Smart old blue, he took the Milky Way. I remember that, mate.
Where the fuck did the bridge go?
I don't know.
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah. Graham would definitely be. What could Graham be?
Graham? Fucking.
Graham could be. I don't know. He reminds me of like a Turkish delight or something. I don't even know
what is Graham. What chocolate bar is Graham? He's got to be sat like a fucking twirl or something like that.
Nah, like a double decker.
Yeah, double decker or something. Yeah, big chunky fucking chocolate bar.
Oh, what's the drunkest you've ever seen each other? Oh, fucking hell, here we go. Oh mate.
Mexico was mine.
Do you remember that time Jimmy Dolan's 80s party when I sort of drunk like a bottle of Amstel and I was fucked and I was being sick on his new settee and I just threw him a score or something.
Yeah.
Like, as much as you say Mexico, Nick, I remember at Jimmy's party.
Yeah, I knew he was going to say that. Man. That was a bad one. I shit myself.
Oh, was that the one in? Was that the one when you dived in the fish pond?
That was it.
Yeah.
You know what? Somewhere, I've still got that video of Nicky swimming around looking for fish in a massive pond, absolutely pissed. All I remember,
I'm going to keep this one on the screen because me and you have this conversation every fucking day. Every time something comes up, we always say that's going to be the title of our book, but we're going to that in a minute. But I've seen Nicky. I think I've seen Nicky drunk more times than I've seen him sober, if I'm honest. But
Mexico, gotta be.
Mexico in the wheelbarrow was probably the drunkest. And I remember, do you remember? I remember Nicky. I don't know what he done. I think he might have gone down to the beach, like the sea, just to put his toe in the water, just see how. And he come back smiling, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I just speared him and rugby tackled him. But it hurt him, but he was smiling and laughing.
Yeah, I can't remember much of that night. I was in a rough old state. The most pissed I've ever seen Ryan is when we cleared them fucking beers at that. When we went for the awards night.
And then we went to that nightclub after. I was all right. It was when I got to that nightclub, and for some reason, I ordered a bottle of wine.
Bottle of wine? You've drunk 4 bottles of wine, you dickhead.
Yeah, I know. I was trying to make it not look as bad.
Oh, sorry.
No, you've just grasped me right up there.
We must have drunk. I'm not joking. It was a good night. We must have drunk 20 beers each from the free Bud Light per. We had to clear the table. We had about 100 beers on the table. We cleared them all off, and then he went in and drunk 4 bottles of red wine, and that was him. He was gone, mate. It wasn't so much the drunkest I've ever seen, because I've also carried him home from Bournemouth. I carried him about 4 miles down the road because he couldn't walk. But
I was blaming the KFC, wasn't I?
Yeah, he kept on blaming dodgy KFC, right? And but I had to carry him home. No taxis would take him. I carried him home. He couldn't walk, right? But it's not so much how drunk he was in Manchester. It was the morning when we was trying to go home, and we got every 10 yards up the road. He was going, stop. He was great. And then he kept on being sick. He's going, I can't smell them McMuffins. Get them McMuffins out of here.
The thing is, you only live once. You've got to enjoy life. And
I'm not going to joke. When I was sick all over myself when I was at Jimmy's party. They was washing me down. I started shitting in the bath.
Nick, do you remember that time in O'Neill's when I walked down the step and I slipped and I took out about 5 people with me?
Yeah, that was probably the funniest thing. The funniest thing I've ever seen was walking down the stage. Me and him was dancing on the stage, and then the dance floor was packed solid, and both of his feet went underneath him from as he was walking down the step, and he done like a fucking double-footed replica challenge and went for about 20 people. And everyone just went.
I'll tell you what, Scott.
But the thing is, right? I'll tell you the worst thing is, he got up and called me a prick, and I never done anything.
Scott, I'm sure he pushed me. I'm sure. And the thing is, as well, if we'd have had VAR in O'Neill's at the time, I'd have got a straight red for that all day long.
Honestly, he took about 20 people out, and he got up all embarrassed. Went, "You a prick." I don't know why he called me a prick. I wasn't even nowhere near him.
Joe, right? Serious question. Have any of you actually seen Graham drunk? Because I'm really struggling. I'm sitting here like I don't.
I'll tell you what, Scott. He was drunk at my wedding. Look, I got proof. Look at him. Look at him go there.
I have no. If I'm totally honest, I've never seen him out of his nut. I've seen him drunk.
Yeah. Even that video.
We did go somewhere once and he was proper pissed, but I'm trying to think where it was.
But he's a different breed of drunk, though. He gets emotional.
Yeah, he's an old school Joe. He has a gin and starts crying.
Yeah.
Starts saying like, when you get that one drunk that goes, I fucking love you. I love you.
Yeah. He's one of them drunks. He starts getting all serious.
Yeah. He starts sitting you down and telling you about putting you in bunkers.
I ain't that bad.
Where's the drunkest I've ever seen you, Scott?
Oh.
I've seen him in some states, to be fair. We used to have house parties at home.
To be fair, I was never that bad at house parties.
Nick, do you remember that time when we went to
situations, I must admit.
Do you remember that time, Nick, when we went to Jimmy's 80s party and we come in his house dressed as Ghostbusters. You started spraying the city street.
And Al was picking it up, going, "He's a prick."
It all went everywhere, and Al was just trying to sweep it up. But it was great days, man. Great laugh.
Yeah.
So, come on in, boys. What would the title of your autobiography be?
Get out. Get out while you still can. I don't know. I have these. I don't know. I have to see something to prompt it.
Yeah. I don't know what it might have been now. You put me on the spot there.
I see something every day, and I'll see a random like bit of text. I'll send him something and go, "That's my new book," and it's saying like, "Fucking, I got my willy stuck in a door." and it's some fruit or something ridiculous like that. But I don't know.
Oh, fucking hell.
Mine has got to be something around my work, innit? The fact of, did I really see that? You know, that's
the Rat King.
It's like along them lines. It's got to be something to do with my work. Some of the things I've seen and dealt with.
Me and you could have a joint one, Scott.
Yeah,
we could have positive Pat, and I catch the rat. Oh, okay. T36. If you're a school teacher, what sort of teacher would you be? Strict. Scott, what sort of teacher? Scott, you'd look like a geography teacher.
Yeah.
Someone that gets paid and shouldn't.
yeah. So it's about right, really. But
I reckon I'd be a PE teacher. I'd just tell everyone to run around the fields while I go and sit in the office and have a coffee and watch playing TV on YouTube.
Graham's definitely a history teacher.
Imagine him. Oh, the history he's got.
What lesson what lesson would you have to teach to talk the most nonsense? Because that's the teacher I would be. The one that just tells you random things that have got no use to your life.
Economics.
There you go.
Woodwork,
yeah.
You always used to get that one kid in woodwork that they give a cocktail stick and he'd make a fucking boat out of. Flash bastards.
I'd be the teacher that goes in and lets the kids teach themselves because I want to read something. One of them teachers, like geography teacher.
Joe, I think it'd be the worst teacher out of all of us. I think it'd be Dan.
He's a teacher.
He's a teacher, and he'd be the worst out of us.
He gets frustrated quite easily.
Oh yeah, I'd love a bit of that. Bit of drama. That's what I'd like. A bit of drama, teacher. Come on, boys. Let's get in come on, boys and girls, in a circle. Let's act out. EastEnders.
Matt's probably right there. I probably would be an English teacher because I'm all about opinion, and that's what English is. It's opinion and metaphors and similes and all that sort of stuff. So yeah. Because someone keeps on asking me when's the next stream. Tomorrow night.
What time, Nicky? If I'm awake, I might watch it.
I'm thinking about 10 or 11.
Oh, well, your gaming one.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, mate. I'll have to watch that and catch up because it's boxing tomorrow night.
We got the musings tomorrow, which will be tomorrow.
I did notice that when I uploaded this, I did see the musings on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the musings will be tomorrow. I just wanted to put that out over the weekend, and then I'm looking at a couple of things. But the next Twitch stream will be tomorrow. It will be we're having like a sleepover, a Saturday night sleepover. We're gonna have pizza, some few bottles of Cokes, and play the Nintendo all night. This is going to go down well with my family, isn't it?
Yeah. There we go. Is it? What are you scared of the most? Is it Hicksy? Have I said that right? What are you scared of the most?
Tottenham winning the league because you never hear the fucking end of it. But, scared of the most? Probably dying, if I'm honest. And leaving this world and leaving the kids behind and that. I suppose dying, if I'm honest. I know it's horrible. I hate talking about it, but
I'm not scared of dying, but I'm scared of leaving my children here on their own.
No, I am.
My children got one.
Yeah, I ain't scared of dying. At the end of the day, it happens to us all. And
and I fucking hate hedgehogs. I can't stand it.
Proper little pricks they are.
Do you know what? I'm scared of. I don't want to see my kids go before me. That's what scares me the most.
I'm scared of being skint.
Even that wouldn't bother me, mate.
Nah,
to be honest.
It's probably dying, and that goes from when I was younger. I used to, dream about it. So when you die, that's it, and you're gone. And it's always been like that. But yeah, when you have kids, you don't want, like you don't want
to see them go before you.
Yeah, you don't want to see your kids go before you. There's a lot of things I'm scared of. Scared of some of the social media people over West Ham that threaten you.
I spat a little bit laughing. No, it's like if you want a funny answer, hedgehogs. If you want the real answer, it is dying and leaving.
I'll tell you one thing I am scared of. I'm scared of I'm not a big fan of being in the dark.
He hates clowns.
Oh yeah, I hate clowns. Can't fucking stand clowns. I remember this one time Nicky sent a clown over to me, and it was a woman dressed up as a clown. And I said to her, "You don't get away from me, I'm gonna knock you out." Can't stand them.
You don't like clowns.
Being in the dark, but I love, like horror movies. I love that feeling of being scared, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I love that feeling. I hate it, but I love that feeling, that adrenaline of being scared. I mean, before we went into lockdown last year in January, me and my missus went on a nighttime tour of the Tower of London, and they take you in places that they don't usually do in the daytime, and you go in all these, and I was shitting myself, but I loved it. I loved that feeling. It was fucking lovely.
I did one of them like horror mazes up in Blackpool, where you go through different rooms, and there's different things in there. And it's the scariest thing, but it was absolutely brilliant.
I've done one of them. I went to see a few years ago now. I went to see Michael Jackson Thriller up London, the stage show. I come out of there, and there was a nighttime thing called Passage de Terror.
Yeah.
And it was the last show of the night, so it was like half price tickets. So I thought, I'll have a bit of that. So what you do, you walk through this maze, and it's all like horror films, and they're not allowed to touch you. Bearing in mind, the woman that done The Exorcist fucking grabbed my shoulder. But literally the last bit, remember the film Jason with a chainsaw?
Yep.
This nutty geezer comes running out with a chainsaw and chases you, and you run through this door, but you go into a bar full of people.
Yeah, that's like the one in Blackpool was like that.
That was fucking. That honestly, that was. It was. I was shitting myself because I'm half pissed.
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on. I've got like nutty people chasing me around. I got Freddy Krueger. I don't know what was going on, but but it was a laugh. But when you run into that bar and everyone's waiting for you to run out, and I sort of done this little sprinted out, screaming, shitting myself, and then done a little dad walk to the bar and went, "I'll have a beer, please, boss."
I went to Florida a couple of years ago on the Halloween times, and I've done all that, man. Some of them were fucking unreal. I remember I'd done this one, right? I got it was like massive. It was what was it? Fort Park. They do it at Fort Park. We was like annual pass holders.
I'm just going to leave that one there, Nick. We'll come back to that one.
Yeah, we went to Fort Park, right? And there was this one platform 9 or a platform 10 or something like that, right? And it was meant to be this really scary thing.
Where's that?
And Fort Park. It was one of these Halloween horror.
Darren Brown.
I know I went on a Darren Brown thing. That was I didn't like that either. But this one, this is they set up these horror mazes, and this one was called Platform 13 or something like that, right? And you basically, the story is right. They've got stories behind these mazes and all of that sort of thing, right? So you basically go into this tunnel, and it's meant to be an old abandoned mine shaft, right? And you're walking through this tunnel, and it's just so thin that it's basically a big fucking like bit of cloth, black cloth, like that blackout cloth that goes along and you're walking through it, and it's meant to be you're in this train tunnel that's so thin, right? And as you're walking through, there's people like hiding in the cloth, and they come out and they whisper in your ear, right? And there's meant to be this big story about some conductor or something like that, right? That I don't know, killed a load of people and the spirits. If some bollocks like that, right? And walking through, and it's quite unsettling. It's pitch black. I mean, pitch black, except for the woman at the front who's got a tiny, tiny little light, right? But there are some. Let's just say I've never seen so many cross-eyed people in one place, right? That's all I will say about the people in front of me, right? That's what I would say. That they were literally morons, right? And we gets to the end of this tunnel, right? So this fucking woman takes us to the end, and what it's meant to be is meant to be. Why are you laughing?
Go on.
It's meant to be this bit at the end, this big reveal. You get to the end of the tunnel. You've had all these, supposed spirits whispering in your ear and all that, and they've got speakers up there, and these people in front of us, you can't walk past them unless they go right. Anyway, there's this woman, and she's going, right, we're going to have to do the Ouija board now. This is where like the conductor is. Don't let him come. He'll murder you and all this. We've got to do the Ouija board. We've got to summon him to get out the tunnel, blah, or some bollocks like that, right? And we're doing the Ouija board. Anyway, there's this big thing, and the noise goes up, like the music goes, them like violin, all that shit, right? And there's this thing above the door that's meant to scare you, right? And to be fair, at first glance, it does, because the strobes are going, the music's going and all that. And you think, like that, right? But these people in front were so thick, they were so stupid, right, that the woman's gone, run, he's here, and all that. Everyone wants to get like into the moment, yeah. And these people in front were just looking at each other, yeah. And the woman's going, run, everyone, run. But like it totally took it out, because she looked above the door, and it was literally, one of them little flappy men that they have in the car park.
Yeah.
And it had a little hat on. And it was just doing that, but it just took the whole fucking like experience out of it. It was just one of them flappy men doing that, and it had a little conductor's hat on, and everyone was like, "Are you going to go then, mate? We got to go now." But they were so stupid, they wouldn't move.
I remember when I first ever went to Florida, I went on the Jaws ride, and have you ever been on a Jaws ride in Florida?
No, it was gone.
Right, Scott, you know this bit then. You know the bit where you go round and the shark comes up, doesn't it? And then the bloke shoots him, and you think it's over, and he goes, "Thank you for riding and welcome to Disney. Enjoy the rest of your day." And I'm thinking to myself, "Oh, right, that's in the right." And the shark comes out again, didn't it? Well, honestly, I slipped and my leg went under the thing and went into the water. And Scott, honestly, mate, I scrambled. I was screaming because I thought this plastic shark was going to bite me. That's another thing that scares. Going back to what scares me, the sea scares me. I don't like the sea.
I'll back that.
I don't like the sea. I don't like being in water. And I think, and well, funny enough, me and Nicky was together at the time. I think it goes back to Mexico with the big barracuda. Fucking. And then when the sea turtle fucking nearly attacked Nicky, and I didn't like being that far out, and we see them Mexican lifeguards on the boat, and we was going like that, help, and they started smiling and drove off.
The maddest thing about the barracudas, right? Now, these barracudas apparently can take your fucking arm off, right?
Scott, we knew something big was coming because like loads of little thousands of fish went swimming past, and I thought, right, I've seen Pinocchio. I know what's happening. I'm saying big's coming. And I remember looking at Nicky, and we both put our like snorkel goggles, and we looked down, and honestly, mate, this barracuda could have been about
massive, mate.
It was probably a goldfish, to be fair, but it looked about 50 foot long.
The thing is, right, we didn't know it was dangerous, so we was ducking down trying to slap it around the face.
I just want to say,
I was talking to him. I was going, look at this big miserable fish.
Ken, we have talked football, mate. This is Ask Us Anything. So sorry, we'll keep talking bollocks.
Sorry about that, Ken.
Sorry, Ken.
Should we change the old show for Ken?
Yeah.
Can we vote on that? Who wants to change the old show for Ken?
Let's call this Ken's 10 minutes.
I've swum out there many a time snorkeling out.
Love you, Ken.
Seen a few barracudas. They are they're a bit worried about, mate. They're to be
Scott, this thing was 100 foot long, right? Honestly, mate, it was massive, and it scared the shit out of me.
Do you know what
I don't like the feeling of like when you're underwater you can't do nothing, can you?
No, you've got. That's the thing. When you're swimming out in the ocean in certain countries, you've got to have your wits about you. You've got to know what's going on. You've got to know
nice, it was nice. I remember there was claret and blue fish under there. It was beautiful. And then Geppetto turned up in a wow when it all went wrong.
Did I tell you about when I went scuba diving in Mexico last time I went? Did I tell you about that?
No.
Oh, don't please tell me I did tell you. I must have told you, right? And I went.
So
I went out.
That question that Ben's just asked. Have you ever broken a bone? We'll be all night with fucking Nicky and biscuit bones and his jet skis.
Have you seen them full face scuba masks? Have you seen them?
Oh, the one with the things at the top.
Yeah, like in the old days, you used to have like a pair of glasses and you used to stick a fucking big stick in your mouth, basically, and you used to walk around like that. Well, now they have these full face masks, right? And I got one of them to go scuba diving, right? So we paid this geezer 100 and fucking whatever quid to go scuba diving, right? It takes us out to the Barrier Reef, right? Now I've had a fucking skinful the night before, like a proper skinful, right? We're getting out early, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not the best on boats with fucking like seasickness, right? It's taking us out on a speedboat for about an hour and a half to go out to this fucking Barrier Reef right near Tulum, yeah. And I've had as I said, I'd had a skinful the night before, right? I'm feeling dicky anyway, right? So takes us out there. I just about made it without being sick on a boat, right? I'm calming down a little bit. It's going right. What we're going to do now is we're gonna go out, and I thought it was just going to be us, yeah. But you get out there, there's fucking hundreds of boats and hundreds of people out there, right? Obviously, it's a fucking tourist attraction, right? So anyway, he goes, do you want to use the scuba mask that we supply? And I was like, no, I've got my own one. I've got this thing, right? Anyway, I put this thing on, dives into the water, right? And I starts breathing into this thing. And I'd had quite a big breakfast as well. When I was a fat old fucker, like I'd had a lot of the buffet. Let's just put it that way. And it was a lot of sausage, right? And, right, I swear by that. And you can breathe into this mask, and the things at the top rather than breathing into this little. And I'm breathing, and like when you can just smell it and you can taste it all, like. And I'm under the water. I'm thinking, oh my god. All of a sudden, right, I've just gone into the mask, but when it starts filling up like, with sausage and all that shit, yeah. But it's gone all the way. I've been a proper puked up bad. I kept on because I can just smell. And the more I'm being sick, the more I'm puking up, and it's filling up, right? And I'm out in the middle of the sea. The boat's ages away, yeah. And I'm being sick, and as I've like released the mask, all this sausage starts floating off. And the fish start coming up to eat it, right? And I'm fucking like trying to swim away because I don't like the feel of all the fish coming around me. And as I said, I've been there before, and there was a fucking barracuda, right? Now I'm in the water. There's all fucking meat around me, right, and all that. But I can't see where I'm going because the fucking thing's fogged up, and there's all stick everywhere, right? Now I've lost the fucking I'm anyway. Washing it, yeah, I was panicking, right? I start washing it all out, yeah. So I put my mask on. There's hundreds of people there, so they're all under the water. So I start following the crew. I followed the wrong crew to the wrong boat. About 20 minutes swim away, they had to come and find me. Anyway, I couldn't find the cut. Like Jamie, nothing. I was just swimming with this family.
I bet you was like fucking Del Boy on the jet ski. Just
honestly,
further out.
Honestly, I was swimming for about 20 minutes. As I poked my head up, I went to say something to this woman I thought was Chloe, and it wasn't Chloe. I've been following another family. They must have been thinking, who the fuck's this weirdo with all sausage following him?
Yeah. Fucking scrambled egg round his chops.
He's got all puke down him. Anyway, I had to swim back. There was hundreds of people there. I had to find them. I couldn't find them. I had to fucking try and remember what the boat looked like.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, right. This is one for you.
What was your reaction the first time you spunked yourself?
My toes went curly. My toes curled up.
Yeah.
And I thought, I'm never going to do that again. That's naughty.
Yeah, the toes went like quavers, and I thought, oh, this is wrong, but it feels so right.
Oh,
fucking hell. I like that. I like that question. That's question of the night.
Oh, God.
Get in contact with Nicky, and he'll send you I don't know, something. You'll never get it, but.
That's
Yeah, look, Matt. Do you know what? Sorry, Matt. I do apologise, mate. The question come off the screen, but have me and Nicky ever slept in the same bed? Listen, we've got so many fucking stories. Hang on, let's get this straight. We've shared a lot of hotel rooms. I think the funniest one was in Iron Napa when it was hot out there. It was, Scott. When I say it was hot, it was fucking hot. We was like in the height of their summer, and it was like 1,000,000 degrees.
Oh.
And me and Nicky went back, and as you do, you know, we've seen each other naked. I've seen you naked. You know,
all play football together.
I've seen you in the shower. You know, I used to sub myself off 5 minutes before so I can get in the shower and Ray locks myself up and wait for you boys. You know, I ain't right. Yeah, we went back to the room, and you know it was hot, so we stripped. We're in separate beds. We got under this. You know, you had the thin sheet. Well, my mate Wayne turned around and said, he went, look, I'll be up in about 20 minutes. So we thought, all right, and so there's a knock at the door. So like I thought, it's Wayne. So me, like silly bollocks, has got up naked. Nicky's laying there with a fag hanging out of his mouth, with a bed sheet wrapped around him, with his leg up. We've opened the door and it's a fucking holiday rep. And he's looked at us. I'm naked. Nicky's smoking a fag, and he's gone, oh, sorry, I'll come back later. And I went, yes, that's right, you will. You've interrupted us. But yeah, no, it was we've had a lot of hotel rooms together.
Manchester, 4 of us in one room, weren't it? I mean, I watch you.
Yeah, you went down to get a pizza and you come back up. What was me and Nicky doing, Scott?
Lying in a bed naked.
With a menu over our dicks.
Never forget that. We lost 1-0 when Nistelrooy scored.
That was it, yeah.
And Chris Akabusi was behind us. Not in the bed.
No, do you remember this, right? We went up there and we was going to go for a night out, but Craig didn't have his clobber.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Do you remember when Scott started reversing down the motorway? Because Craig didn't have his club. We bought a tracksuit. Who the fuck goes out for a night and fucking brings a track? Anyway, we goes out, can't get in anywhere, right? We're just standing in the middle of the street. It's all quiet. All of a sudden, you remember that truck turned up with all them girls on it and the fucking speaker. And then we started dancing for about 5 minutes. They went, yeah, cheers, lads. Yeah, they went cheers and drove off.
They was having a party outside. There's fucking about 200 people turned up on a truck, all girls and all that. Give us a couple of beers. We started dancing and thinking, yes, mate, we don't have to go anywhere. And then he went, cheers, boys, and drove away. Drove off and left us a pot of Pringles. Fucking hell. Hicksy, what is the best atmosphere stadium you've ever been to? Upton Park, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Upton Park, without doubt.
I'll tell you what was a good. Huddersfield was good. Huddersfield, their fans didn't stop for 90 minutes. That first season they was up, when we went there, we won 4-1. Their fans, even when they was 4-1 down, non-stop, they were just loving being in the Premier League. Atmosphere is weird now. It's more like the away fans make the day, don't they? It's rare that you get a home crowd that make noise for 90 minutes. But yeah, Huddersfield in that first season they was up, that was a good away day, obviously because we won as well. But no, their fans were spot on for 90 minutes. Even at 4-1 down, they was still singing along.
The one I hate. I like Leicester's ground. Leicester's got a lovely ground, but they gave their fans clappers. I hate clappers.
Yeah,
they do my head in. I don't like bands at football. When you see the band at the England games and stuff like that, I'm just thinking I wouldn't want to be the bugger standing in front of them. But yeah, clap at Leicester was one of the worst. But no, Upton Park was always good. Always good.
Scott,
I think this is the question, Nick.
Do you know what? We can take that as two different things. I know that was probably, but best. I'm going to say best player I've ever saw live at the game. I'll tell you one of the best performances I've ever seen, like complete performances. And I bet Ryan will back me up on this one, right? And I've seen some good players over the time. But my mate, when we was in school, my mate was a big Arsenal fan, and they used to play their Champions League games at Wembley, right? And obviously Wembley used to have all them. Do you remember the seats at the front that was like flat seats around the running track or whatever it was? And they used to sell them tickets to kids for a fiver. So he got us a few Arsenal tickets. So we went to the Arsenal game to watch Arsenal versus Dynamo Kiev. Yeah. And it was the very early days of Shevchenko and Rebrov. But Shevchenko was the more prominent one. And do you remember, Ryan? Was you there? You was there?
Yeah.
2-2. Most complete performances. I think they beat Arsenal 4-1 or something. But one of the most complete performances I've ever seen from a footballer. Absolutely amazing. Amazing. The way you run that line. I think he scored hat-trick, if I'm right. And I think Rebrov scored the other one. He was amazing that day. Amazing. But that's the best performances I've ever seen live. But best goal. Go on, I'll let you go.
Well, it's funny that we're talking about this because it was 21 years ago to the day that Di Canio scored that volley. Obviously, I wasn't there to see that live, but probably the best goal I've ever seen live. Wow, seen so many, like from opposition players, from West Ham. I'll probably say, because it was unexpected, was Andy Carroll against Crystal Palace, the scissor kick. Because it was unexpected. I wasn't expecting it. But Payet's free kick against Crystal Palace again. Payet's free kick against Crystal Palace. You know, I'll never forget that. Payet against Middlesbrough when he took it round like their whole team twice and tapped it in. But probably for me, remember when we beat Man City 4-2 at home and Julian Dix scored one from outside the box? And growing up, Julian Dix was my hero, my idol. And he had a wand of a left foot. And I remember that day when he smashed it top corner from outside the box. And that was one of the first goals that I remember as a kid thinking, wow, because you didn't really see many goals from outside the box. And I just remember him hitting it, and we beat City that day. And it was a great game of football.
I was there for the Di Canio one, so the best goal I've ever seen is the Di Canio one. But I reckon one of the best goals I've ever seen live, right? I've seen some good goals. I remember Beckham scoring a goal at Upton Park once, and that was a really good goal. I reckon the best goal I've ever seen live might be, right, Obiang against Tottenham. Because he fucking, I've never seen anyone lace one like that.
Yeah, I think the best goals sometimes are the ones that are unexpected and you don't expect it. Like the Di Canio one, didn't expect that. Obiang, you didn't expect that. Andy Carroll. But I've seen some great goals.
Anton Ferdinand versus Fulham was a very good one. When he turned on the volley.
I remember playing Fulham at Upton Park and Konchesky scored for Fulham against us. And that was a great goal. You know, it was weird, sort of like...
What about John Harley?
Yeah, John Harley. Do you remember that one when Gillespie hit a goal and it just went straight in the top corner for Leicester?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do remember that. he hit it from about 40 yards. He turned around and went goal.
Funny enough, that was a Friday night game, and then we went O'Neill's after. But
yeah,
Scott, this one's for you because you've had some canvas shoes in your time, mate. What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn?
I had a jumper that was.
Oh, I thought there weren't going to be an ending to that story.
I had a jumper that I bought from Burton that was too tight when I bought it. When I started to put a little bit of weight on when I was young, and it was sort of like a silverish colour, but it was see-through. Do you remember that, right?
Yes, yeah.
Like it was see-through, so you could see my body through this jumper, but it had like
Oh
silver.
yeah, I do remember that.
And like I used to wear it, but you could tell me tits and my fucking belly button. It was see through. It was like a darkish material, a bit like
Kingfield.
I don't know what can a bit, you know, like what a woman would wear over the top. But it was like that, but it had like silver bits for it. That's the most. I think that's the most. I used to go out like it.
I used to have a mustard yellow YSL jacket. The bollocks back in the day.
I loved that fucking jacket, man.
And
then Paul Smith shirts.
Yeah, mate. Lime green Paul Smith shirt.
Lime green Paul Smith shirt.
Yeah.
What's yours, Scott? The knickers you got on now.
How do you know?
Translucent. That's the word. Translucent.
Probably.
I remember once Nicky turned up to the beat and he had a leather jacket on, right?
No,
lie, Scott. He turned up, right, at the beat with a long leather jacket on. I thought, oh, that looks all right. To be fair, he looked a bit of a prick at the time, but you know, you say, no, you look all right. But he had tassels. he had tassels on the arm. He looked like
it never had tassels. It never had tassels. It's a long leather jacket.
Someone get me Gareth. Where's Gareth? My mate will back me up.
They always say this. It's not true.
But it was long. He looked like, you remember when The Undertaker went like All American Badass?
It wasn't that long.
And he turned up outside the pub with a long leather jacket on his ped, and he parked it up like he was The Undertaker.
It was a long leather jacket. It never had tassels. He says this all the time, and my mate backs him up over it. I swear on my life, it never had tassels.
It did. It had tassels. I'm sure it did.
My one's got to be one, how my mum and dad dressed me when I was a kid, and then two, probably a shell suit. That's the worst, most.
Yeah, but you can't really say that because everyone was wearing them, weren't they?
That's the thing. It's like,
yeah, but back then you didn't have a choice because your parents dressed you. What about when you got old enough to dress yourself?
But I don't think I've worn anything embarrassing.
I wore an Arsenal shirt in a charity game once. That was quite embarrassing. But I had a West Ham shirt underneath, so it didn't touch skin.
Who does the best impression of someone famous? I do some pretty good.
Oh, here we go. It's all he fucking lives on, his phone jacker. Come on.
I do some good phone jacker ones. I would say he's famous. Dan does obviously. Dan
does Harry Redknapp, but it sounds like David Sullivan. And then he does David Sullivan that sounds like Harry Redknapp.
and then he tries to do David Gold, and he sounds like fucking Sean Dyche.
Yeah.
Graham does a good few out of phone jacker. He's quite good at him once. Yeah,
Graham's better than Nicky.
Why does Ty from AFTV talk about conspiracy theories? That's from Nicholas Turcott, and he's donated $5 Canadian. I don't know. Ty's a funny guy, man. I've seen that guy. I've met him numerous times, obviously, and so is Wyatt. And he's the nicest guy. But when you talk about football with him, there's just no reasoning with the man. There's just no. He's got his opinion, and he sticks. I've seen him get a slap outside of the Emirates.
I know. So I was in the video.
Yeah,
people thought it was me.
Yeah, he's the nicest guy. He's the nicest fella. He's absolutely Arsenal mad.
Yeah, the thing is, what people don't realise with Ty is what you said there. He is Arsenal mad. He goes and when I mean every game, I mean the under-23, the women's. You know, he goes everywhere, and he always has. And look, I've met Ty a few times, and I think he's a really nice bloke. But he's one of these people that if I was in a room and someone was sort of saying something against West Ham, you know, I'd sort of take it. You know, I think, yeah, all right, and I'd agree with him. He won't have a bad word said against Arsenal. Even if they're right, even if we're right, he won't have it.
Yeah, he won't have it. He can't see the negative in anything Arsenal do. Nothing. And he's the nicest guy to the point where, you know, he'd sit there having fucking arguments with mascots because he thinks his mascot's better.
He's always been very complimentary of West Ham, though.
Yeah, he's always been very nice to us. He's always been. He's he's a bit crackers, to be honest with you. But like he just won't have it. And as I say, like what you don't understand about Ty, like, and this is a big misconception with a lot of them guys over there. Like they don't just roll up there for the cameras. Like if you go to a fucking Arsenal women's game at the Emirates, he'll be there. If you go to an under-19s game at the Emirates, he'll be there. Not only just the Emirates, anywhere. You know, you walk up to a fucking a first team game over in Australia, he'll be over there. It's mental, like our it's mental how obsessed he is actually, and he wears them clothes all the time. The Arsenal tracksuit, Arsenal headphones.
I remember I was at I think you was there as well. I think it was the first time we done the Robbie's football fan show, and I remember being in the waiting room. And someone was filming it on their Snapchat. They said to Ty, how much Arsenal merchandise have you got on? And he literally had 2 pairs of Arsenal tracksuit bottoms on, socks, 2 pairs of boxer shorts. I don't know why. I thought he must have thought someone was going to nick a pair or something. So he's got spares. But he had a T-shirt, a vest, a T-shirt, a jumper, a tracksuit top, a hat, a water bottle with nothing in it, by the way. There's never nothing in that water bottle. Headphones. Everything he had on was Arsenal. Trainers, even his trainers were Arsenal. I think if he'd have took a £20 note on, the Queen would have been wearing an Arsenal shirt. I'm sure it would have been.
He gets bullied for the way he is, and he gets ridiculed and he gets laughed at and all that. But that's his comfort. Like, I don't think you should ever laugh at anyone's comfort. That's that's what makes him feel confident. That's what he feels confident in. That's what he feels confident doing. That's what gives him his comfort. That's what gives him his enjoyment in life. He likes wearing that Arsenal stuff. That makes him feel more connected to the club. And I don't like and his opinions. There is opinions that some of them are bonkers, but there is opinions, and that's what makes him feel like he has, like value in life, is his opinions and his connection to Arsenal. And I don't think you should ever laugh at anyone or ridicule anyone or anything like that who go to that extreme to feel like he belongs to something. I don't think you should ever do that to anybody. It breaks my heart when somebody said the most embarrassing clothes and all of that sort of thing. I remember being kid and all of that, and I remember being young and I fucking I remember I still have got them. I used to have sticky out ears, and I used to get the fucking shit ripped out of me. It used to break my heart, and it used to break my mum's heart to see me so upset and all that. You should never judge anyone. Let people be people. You don't have to laugh at them. You don't have to ridicule them. You don't have to do anything like that. Just let them be them. Why does him wearing Arsenal tracksuit bottoms or pants or T-shirts or whatever, if that's what he feels comfortable in, why does that bother people? I don't understand it. I never have understood it, but
because usually people that judge are uncomfortable with their own life.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
But look, we know I'm all over at Arsenal Fan TV or AFTV, if it's known now. But listen, I've got no problem with any of them. Every time we've met them, they've always been decent people. Yeah, decent people.
Very much so.
Even Expressions. I've met him a couple of times for the Tottenham channel, and honestly, I know he comes across sometimes as you can judge him how you see him on the videos, but honestly, he's a really nice bloke. And I've met him a couple of times, I see him as he's quite shy, isn't he? When you meet him in real life, he keeps himself. And but look, we all sometimes play up to the camera. People do it, and it is what it is. But
the thing is with him, right? He's made a career out of it.
Yeah, never judge a person. Never judge a person on a video or how they act on social media, because they're totally different off it.
Exactly. We've got to start wrapping it up now, I think. I've seen a few comments over that. Agree, as Nicky. Agree, Nicky, as nobody should ever judge anyone for their faults, etc. Oh, it depends what the faults are. If there are a few people that I think should be judged on their faults, but when they're innocent faults, or innocent things, like that don't affect anyone, but attending games or not wanting to be negative against Arsenal or wearing tracksuits and things like that. Why? What difference does it make? Like, just let them be. I got bullied throughout my childhood, and although it taught me to be tough, it was hard. Yeah, it is hard. It is hard.
I think, being bullied it changes you, doesn't it? It either makes you stronger or it can really mess with you. And some people, that's the thing. Like when you're a youngster, and kids can say the nastiest things, but
it's true.
It's when a lot of kids get older and grow out of it. Some don't, and some people have to bully people and abuse people to make themselves feel better because their life's shit. Basically.
You normally find things going on in their own life.
That's it. And that's what they do. Instead of dealing with what's going on in their own life, they choose to pick
I see Glenn's nicked one of me sayings, but I've only got 2 haircuts left. I guarantee you, Glenn, let me know how old you are, mate, but I guarantee you, when I'm in my 60s, I'll still have more hair than you. Trust me. The hairline might be fading a little bit around there, but trust me. If you go and look at my hair last week on last week's video.
I don't know how anyone can say you got thick head of hair.
Mate, I've got a lovely flock of hair. I know it's going round here, but that's what I've inherited from my dad. My dad's hairline goes like that.
But that's just your hairline.
Yeah, my dad gets the M for Millwall.
Well,
you've got to turn your head upside down and have the W.
Yeah, I've been going bald for ages, so
yeah. Listen, if I've got 2 haircuts left, mate, you're on.
No wrong with that, mate. No wrong with that hair. That's all good at the minute.
Take the fluff out of the Hoover to put on that.
Where's that cat? Get that cat to lick it off.
Yeah, that'll lick that off. Matt Powell says, "Hey Nicky, you're talking to Lewis from Blues Fan TV now." No.
Don't worry. When the pubs and restaurants open, they're going to go for a nice Toby Carvery together.
Excellent Friday night pint, says Terence Crane. Thank you very much, Terence.
Man, Terence, thank you.
What do you guys think of DT? Is he like he is on camera? No, he's not. He's not.
I'll leave that one to you.
He's not. He's not like that. West Ham. He ran out of a fucking Jamaican restaurant once without trying to pay the bill.
I'll be honest. Listen, I've got my opinions on him. I think he's arrogant.
Carl English, hey fellas, just home from work. Hope your weeks went quick. I was ready for Friday. No.
Do you know what? Me and Scott were saying before that this week's been. It's felt really long. It's dragged this week. It's been a horrible week, but I'm just glad that now I can have a nice little lay-in tomorrow. And I've still got a few bits to do. Like I'm sort of burning the candle at both ends at the moment. I'm so drained and tired, and I've got I get home from work and I've still got stuff to do in the house and all that. Like, fuck me. We put up a fucking TV cabinet last week. Jesus Christ. Honestly, how I didn't get divorced during that period. Honestly, it's stressful, but that's up now. The wardrobes are up. There's only a couple more bits to do and then I'll be all right.
Mate, it's crazy. It's the same with me. I've had so much going on trying to get things ready for the baby coming. It's like work's been manic, and then coming home and I've got stuff to do. I'm off tomorrow. It's like I'm having a day off, but I've got so much to do in the house. It's not a day off.
Well, you've got a little one on the way. I've seen the people asking how your pregnancy's going. I was getting a bit worried about you. Are you doing a little Arnold Schwarzenegger on us? Like,
you've been sliding it out, yeah.
But yeah, no. You ain't got. Well, your missus ain't got too long now, mate. So
no, it's only where are we now? Just
5-6 weeks.
6 weeks, I think. Yeah, I saw Matt Powell's asking us. So it's all going all right at a minute. I don't think we're going to
you're having a lovely time, Scott, ain't you? You ain't carrying the baby around.
No, exactly. Do you know what? It was really nice last night. It was a bit personal, but we're sitting there and the baby starts kicking. And my little one now, like my boy Cody, he's not really been that fussed about having a baby brother. And, I felt the baby move. And I've called him over and he's come over. And to see his eyes light up because he's felt this little brother move about, that was magical. That was absolutely magical. And I'm painting the room today, and I'm going, "You're right sharing the room with your baby brother?" He's like, "No, you ain't ever in my room." But no, that was good.
That'll all change when he's here, mate. He won't put him down.
Nicholas Turcotte is Aubameyang a Gabonese Emil Heskey? No, man. They're both good players,
I'll
mate.
be honest with you, mate. I think that's an insult to Emil Heskey.
Listen, Emil Heskey was, I think he was an underrated player, to be honest with you. Daniel James Dennison, in hindsight, lads, do you think you should have kept Haller till the summer?
Oh.
Don't get me started, James. Daniel, sorry, mate. Don't get me started.
2 hours, 10 minutes.
Don't
let them wind you up, Nick. Don't let them wind you up.
No, I won't, mate. I won't. James's game says, Nicky, I struggle from having big ears and being bullied all the time, though out high school and now social media. How did you cope? As I just want it all to end sometimes. How did I cope? I went through operations, which ended up, I'll be honest with you, mate, they ended up fucking up my ears. But listen, things that seem so important to you when you're that age, you know, when you're older, they don't, you know. Just ignore them. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but you just have to ignore them. Just let them go a bit. The less they get a reaction out of you, the less they'll want to say it, and in the end they'll just end up leaving you alone. And like, it wasn't so much. To be honest with you, I was a bit of a scrapper in primary school. So if anyone said anything, I'd go out and have it out on them, with them on the cobbles. It was more people outside when I was younger, because I used to travel to and from like primary school, and it'd be more kids in the secondary school that used to get to me, like on the bus and things like that, and they used to fucking come and pull my ears and all of that sort of thing. They used to upset me more. But if anyone said it to me in primary school, but I'm not advocating any sort of violence and all of that sort of thing, but you know, it was more like walking home and stuff. And in the end, I just started telling people to fuck off. I got a couple of good ideas, but it was what it was. You know what I mean? They ended up leaving me alone. Right, let's take
it gets better. It gets better when you get older.
Yeah.
You know, people will. The problem with kids is kids don't know when enough is enough. You know, and that's what it is, and it does affect you mentally when people are picking on you and you're being bullied and stuff like that. And you know, it's hard to deal with, but you've got to ride it through. You've got to get there and, you know, get through it. It gets better as you get older.
People mature. It's you know, what they think is funny to other people. This is a bit like social media. Is not. It can ruin your life. T36. Have you guys met Mark Goldbridge? Yes, we did. Didn't like him. That was ages ago, though. By the way, that was years ago. Mbappe or Haaland says, and that's a good one. You know, that's a really good one.
I'll have to go for Haaland.
Same.
I do like Mbappe. I think he's a great player and what he's won at such a young age. And he will go to the very top. But I don't know. There's something about Haaland. I watch him and he never fails to impress me. And I think that the Premier League needs Haaland, and I think Haaland needs the Premier League. If that makes sense.
Mbappe is a special player. He's a real special player. But he's one of them sort of like forwards that are, you know, he's quick. He can play on the wings and all that. Haaland, and this is my type of player, is just an out and out centre forward, a goal scoring machine. You know, there's no trickery about him. He's get the ball, stick it in the back of the fucking net, and he's rapid as well. You know, Mbappe's really good. He's full of tricks and, you know, can drift out to the wings. Now, Haaland is just an all. And
what I like about it as well is that you know, I was lucky enough to see his dad play for City, and whenever you get like a son come along, they never live up to their dad's expectation. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're never as good as their dad.
Yeah,
and I look at him and I think to myself, he could be one of the best players of all time. Yeah, you know, definitely. He's got that, and he needs to listen. The German league's good, but it's no Premier League. You know, he needs to come to the Premier League and do it in the best league in the world. And I think
he'll be in the Premier League.
And I think to myself, when there's probably two teams in the Premier League that I think he'll end up, and that'll be Manchester United or Manchester City. Probably more Man City because of his links with his dad, And obviously Aguero is going to lead the club, and they need an out-and-out striker now.
Fucking Leeds think they're going to get him.
Nah.
Who?
It's Leeds fans. Some Leeds fans think he wants to go to them.
He's easy. I think he'll end up at City, to be honest.
City, Manchester City.
They'll once they get him, he'll be the perfect replacement for Aguero, because Aguero is probably not so much now, but he is the best striker we've had in the Premier League for a good few years. He's consistent. He's the best finisher in the Premier League, in my opinion. And like you said, he's on his way out. So City are going to be looking to replace someone. They've got the money to sign him. So I think he'll be going there.
Yeah, Dortmund could finish outside the top 4. He's got a release clause, I think, that lets him go. A couple more. We speak the truth. Any thoughts on the Senegalese prospect, suck a dick? Yeah, as good as lick a fan.
I think Saka could be good, but he won't be good from behind.
When are you going to get that Sophie on from the Chelsea YouTube channel? We're not. Fucking we had one then, and it went down.
Ireland is very much like this boy.
It went down. That weren't Saka Dick.
He goes down easy.
Yeah, Haaland's finishing is Nistelrooy, when he came to the Premier League, he was a superb finisher. He knew where the goal was, and Haaland's got that about him.
Yeah, that centre forward.
Yeah, Van Nistelrooy is one of the Premier League greats, and I always remember when he first went to sign for United, and he got that injury, didn't he? And they delayed it for a year.
Yeah,
and he ended up signing from PSV. And what a striker he was! What a goal scorer!
I'm sure that first game back for PSV, I don't know whether it was in the first team or the reserves, but I'm sure he scored like 6 or 7 in the game. He was such a good finisher.
Someone just said here, get it up. He's like, have we covered? Yeah, we did cover the Bowen thing. It was probably right near the beginning now, between probably minute
half
15
an hour.
Watch it from minute 15 to minute, I don't know, 50. I'm sure we covered it during that bit, but yeah, we did cover that. It's a good little discussion.
Would you give Anderson another chance, as James says? I wouldn't give Anderson another chance to fucking wash my car, let alone fucking play for the football club again.
No, listen, he's been away. He might realise that. And listen, if Moyes wants to stick with him, then I trust David Moyes, but I don't think he's got a future at West Ham anymore.
Oh, God. Well, we've got to go.
One of my junior has donated $10. Drink a beer for me, boys. I'll reserve training for the weekend for me. Just water and garbage food. Come on your irons. Cheers, Roy.
I've got to go and have my dinner, as it happened, talking about food. Remember Nicky saying, let's wrap it up half an hour ago.
Yeah, he does. He says let's wrap it up, and then he tells one of his stories, and then we lead on to other questions. But yeah, no, I've enjoyed it tonight. Gone quick, 2 hours. What's that? 2 hours, 17 minutes, 2.5 hours. But yeah, another good Friday night pint. When we're back. Oh, you got the musings coming up
tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Next week, I'm going to do an on the social. First one back for a long, long time. I think I'm going to do the first one live, just to get people back into it. Do the first one live. I'm going to get it back in. So I'll tweet out about that on Facebook and Twitter and whatever. We'll get into that. And then, we've got a few things coming up now. Going to try to sort out some interviews with ex-players and that, and get them involved with this channel. I've been talking to someone who wants to get involved a bit more. So it'll be good. It's going to be good.
As we started to ease out of lockdown, the content's going to be better. And I can't wait for that live show. It's going to be brilliant. It's going to be brilliant. Anyway, thank you very much for joining us on this edition of Friday Night Pint. We'll be back tomorrow, as I said, with the musings and all the content building up towards the game next week. Who have we got next week? Scott, remind me. You're going to do a preview?
Yeah,
we've got Wolves on the Monday night.
Yeah, Wolves on the Monday night. Preview, I will do one.
Monday night?
We're coming back. Preview will be back. Probably I'll get that out on the Saturday before the game.
Yeah.
As we're playing on the Monday.
Hopefully this will be the last time I've got to film in the kitchen, and I can get in my little room and get set up properly. And
I like the kitchen.
I can start doing a few more bits and getting involved more. And on the social, as I said, I'll be back. I'll try to get some gal. I want to get Graham involved in it as well when he can get involved. And loving it. Let's get West Ham Fan TV back to the top. Let's get our content out. Let's get fucking back on it. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you Irons.
Oh, is that the end? Come on,
yeah,
you
that's
Irons.
the end.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Like